official World Cup coverage on
16, who's going to make it, Spain or Russia? So we want to find out. Let's start. Oh, good start.
With 7 minutes played, almost 8 minutes. So they haven't conceded the early goal that they might have feared, Russia. We've seen pictures on the television screens. I don't know about you, I was wondering if Vladimir Putin would be here for this match today. I've not seen him on the screen. I've seen Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, and you would think that if Putin was here, he'd be sitting around Gianni Infantino. If Russia go 2-0 up with 10 minutes to play, do you think he might appear from somewhere?
You see the helicopter coming over the top.
Yeah, it is, with Golovin on the left-hand side, but Golovin concedes a foul and Spain are back in possession. Jordi Alba. Now Isco has appeared again, almost in the left wing-back position, Isco. We've seen him on the right side, we've seen him on the left, we've seen him in the middle. At the moment, Asensio very much on the right-hand side, and here he is, the Real Madrid man, who I know you rate very highly, Asensio. Koke playing it square towards Sergio Ramos. That's Atletico Madrid to Real Madrid. Now here's Barcelona with Jordi Alba on the left-hand side, and now Atletico Madrid again with Diego Costa, who crosses but straight into the first defender, Kuchepov, and it is chipped away towards the halfway line by big Juba, who was beaten to it by Sergio Ramos, and then a shove in the back of Busquets, and it's a free kick to Spain just inside Russian territory. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, Ramos is a little bit too streetwise for Zuba for me. Every time the ball comes forward, he's there, he's in front of him, or he's next to him, he's going to get a free kick a lot, or he gets in front and gets the ball.
Yeah, Zuba, who came on as a substitute during the great win here at this stadium against Saudi Arabia, when for a little while at least for Russia anything seemed possible at this tournament. The 5-0 win against Saudi Arabia, but the Uruguay defeat I think brought everyone back down to earth a little bit. But as we know now, Uruguay are a very, very good team at this World Cup. Here the ball to the right hand side where Nacho is blocked, and it's a free kick. Zhirkov, as Nacho was looking to control it and take it on, Zhirkov just stepped in front of him and fouled him.
That looked a bit painful. That really clashed knees, I think. He couldn't get under control. It bounces up. Is that all right? Oh, that's a terrible challenge. By the way, that's shocking. That's
a nasty one. It caught him on the knee. I mean, it was a bouncing ball he was going for, but he missed the ball by a distance.
That's shocking.
And caught him on the knee.
That is shocking. And the linesman's 4 yards away, by the way. That is a really bad challenge, that.
He's not being yellow carded.
No. It did look, at first, John, looked like a collision, really, but that was terrible. When you see the replay.
He's still receiving treatment. Over on the far side, he's up and he's leaning forward with his hands on his knees, Nacho, and he just limps away. But it's a free kick in a very dangerous position in the shadows down to our left. Spain with Sergio Ramos on the 6-yard box. Busquets is there and Costa. Here's the delivery into the 6-yard box. A stretch by Ramos. It's in. It's in. He was being put under pressure, the Spanish captain, but he's somehow been able to work it in from just a couple of yards out. And it is 1-0 to Spain. They've scored the early goal. That is an early hammer blow for the Russian hosts. And it is Spain who lead by 1-0, and it's Sergio Ramos.
Well, Strong, one thing in his mind. It was a foul. It was a terrible foul, and they took the free kick. Yet again, this is the World Cup of set pieces. Every set piece there seems to be a chance to goal. He's strong at the far post. He's getting. By the way, the guy who's Martin's not even looking at the ball. Look at that. If he doesn't score, it's a pen anyway for me.
It's Ignashevich.
Oh, he's not even looking at him. It's come off his leg.
Did Sergio Ramos get a touch on that?
No, it's an own goal.
Just need to see that again, I think. I mean, Ramos's foot was next to the leg of Ignashevich.
Own goal. Come off the calf.
So it looks as though that is an own goal. On our screen, our little information screen to our left, they've not yet committed themselves.
He scored. I don't know what heard him.
Now
not 12 he scored.
Yeah, I think it is. It looks as though it is going to be given as an Ignashevich own goal. We'll see. It's one of those ones where I think they'll have to examine the footage. But listen, it's 1-0 already to Spain, and what was already a difficult task for the Russians has just become so much harder. And it's a goal kick because Juba can't control the ball.
He's offside anyway. The linesman had the flag up, but that's definitely an own goal for me. But I don't get why he's a big guy, big centre. Why is he not looking at the ball and going challenging? What is he? He's actually facing Ramos, got his arms round him, wrestled him to the floor, comes off his calf, goes in the net.
Spain 1, Russia 0 on this Sunday afternoon. I know the weather conditions are glorious again back home. Here's Fernandez on the right-hand side. Fernandez playing the ball into the Spanish left-back area, and Fernandez brilliantly tackled by Piqué, who recovered and put the ball out of play for a throw. That was an excellent piece of defensive work. If you're on your way home and you're listening to our commentary on 5 Live, you can continue to listen to us. It's one of those games where we are on the red button, because this is a BBC television live match, as Russia have their first chance to have a shot from distance. Roman Zobnin, but it was high over the angle of post and bar by a distance, actually 5 or 6 yards. So it is a goal kick to Spain. So on your television, on your handset, press the red button and you'll be able to watch the pictures synced up with the 5 Live commentary. And it is Steve Wilson and Kevin Kilban who are right in front of us, actually, with the BBC TV commentary, so you can listen to them as well if you prefer when you get home. But 1-0 to Spain, and here is Isco. And I think that I would hesitate to say that Spain were unsettled, but if there wasn't any element of being unsettled by playing here against the hosts in the Luzhniki Stadium, then that goal will have settled them down. And I see that the FIFA committee have obviously decided that yes, it is an Ignashevich own goal that has given Spain the lead. Here comes Spain down the right-hand side now. Asensio hooked it in field, but presented it to Russia, and it's cleared away up towards Zuba, who nods it down, but a little slip by Samyodov, and Spain have got it inside their own half.
Spain just can't get out. And I noticed after the goal, they got a goal kick, Spain, and Russia went right up the field and made them kick it long, and this is what they're going to have to do to go in the game. Look, nobody fancies you to win the game, so go and have a go. If you lose 2 or 3, 4, it's football, you've had a go. At the minute, it's for Spain. How many teams play Spain and do this, what they're doing? Most teams sit back, but they haven't got the pace or the legs to hurt them on the counter-attack, so you may as well go for it.
Ball downfield is deflected into the path of Kuzyayev, and that means that Russia are on the move again with Zhirkov down the left-hand side. Yuri Zhirkov, 34 years old now, very nearly 35, the former Chelsea man. It's played up down the line to Zobnin, who wanted a free kick, but the referee's having none of it. The ball has dribbled away through for a Spanish goal kick. And David De Gea, who has not yet had a save to make in this match. And Russia are certainly looking to press Spain here, because they have 5 men in the Spanish defensive third, as De Gea is looking to take this goal kick. You made a great point as well, Chris, in terms of the goal that Spain scored. That would have had to be given as a penalty. De Gea still waiting to take the goal kick.
All right, John, he should have got a yellow card anyway, even though he's put it in his own net.
Ignashevich.
Yes, he should have been yellow carded after it.
Yeah. So Spain leading Russia by 1-0 here in Moscow. And Jack Nicholls will tell us what's happening in Austria at the Grand Prix.
So Lewis Hamilton is really struggling with his tyres. He's had to pit, drop down to 5th place behind Daniel Ricciardo, but Ricciardo has just retired in the Red Bull. So Verstappen still leads, Raikkonen 2nd, Vettel 3rd. Hamilton is 30 seconds off the race leader in 4th position, but on fresher tyres. He's going to be on the charge now.
Late challenge on Busquets, which caught him. That was late, but Spain are in possession, so referee Kuipers has said just play on. And it's Zobnin who put in the challenge. Here the ball to the edge of the penalty area to Isco. Isco with a lovely touch, then David Silva takes it over, tried to spin a pass to the left-hand side. And Spain now sensing that if they could score a second goal, they'd pretty much have this last 16 tie wrapped up with, plenty of time to go. And Silva looking for Diego Costa, but it's headed down by Kucherpov.
Russia don't know what to do, John. Stick or twist.
Oh, and that's sliced out of play by Kucherpov, and it's a throw in to Spain down the left-hand side.
They don't know what to do, stick or twist. They've had a game plan which has gone backwards on them on 12 minutes. Now do they want to come out and really have a go and press Spain, give what they've got for an hour and make the subs? Or they're going to do what they've started, because they're playing it in Spain's hand. You may as well go and have a go.
At the moment it is panning out as the majority of these 80,000 people will have feared, but they're trying to raise their team with the waving of the flags and the cheering of the Russian name. But Spain with Sergio Ramos. Chips the ball to the right-hand side. Certainly the celebration from Ramos would suggest that he might well be claiming that, but the TV pictures are suggesting that it was an Ignashevich own goal. Sergio Ramos now, little pass into the centre circle where Koke will pull it to the right-hand side. David Silva is there. David Silva then goes back towards the halfway line, and this is just Spanish possession in the central third of the field. If you do want to listen to the Austrian Grand Prix, by the way, you can hear the commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra, and on the BBC Sport website you can hear the commentary on the New Zealand-England final of the Women's Tri-Series cricket. New Zealand, last we heard, were batting. That is on the BBC Sport website. But Spain, with Jordi Alba, who hits a poor pass actually straight out of play for a throw into Russia, halfway inside their own half. And of course, Wimbledon begins tomorrow. I know we've mentioned it during the course of the programme, but there'll be blanket coverage from, late tomorrow morning, I would imagine, on the television, on 5 Live, on Sports Extra, and online over the course of the next couple of weeks or so. It'll be something of a juggling act for us with Wimbledon and the World Cup. But the ball out of play for a throw-in to Spain, and we see a first sight since the start of the match of the Russian coach, the burly, mustachioed Russian coach Stanislav Cherchesov, who was trying to direct operations in his dark suit, shaven-headed, and in front of him little Jordi Alba standing, holding the ball above his head and taking a loop throw to the bearded Diego Costa. Couldn't find Asensio, cleared forward, and then Sergio Ramos in. Juba acted as though he'd been brushed by a feather, kept his feet. He's a strong individual. Now the ball played over the top by Kuzyaev, but Nacho was in position to clear it towards the halfway line. Ignashevich, right-footed ball with the angle, out to the right-hand side. Fernandez wins the challenge, but the second challenge is won by Sergio Ramos, and Spain now moving it away from inside their own half. Asensio looked for the long ball towards Diego Costa. That's very much been a feature of the Spanish play, that early ball to Costa when the opportunity presents itself. But Sergio Ramos almost telepathically knew where Gerard Piqué was, behind him, turned, passed straight to him, and Spain have got the ball again halfway inside their own half. Spain, certainly, Chris Waddle, very live contenders to win this World Cup.
Yeah, you can't write them off. Listen, they're a talented bunch, and squad-wise as well. Yes, you know, they've changed it over the years, but we've got so used to certain players playing every tournament, and obviously some new ones come in, but it's very much the same. They still play attractive football, and including 2006 World Cup, they've dominated possession in 32 of the last 33 games since, including 2006. Every major tournament, 32 out of 33 games have dominated possession, and you do know the 33 was the team they didn't dominate against,
which was, now
answers on a postcard to John Murray.
Should know this. Let me think about that. Now you're trying to make me do two things at the same time, and I always find that difficult. It is 1-0 to Spain. Just going to mentally go through the teams of the world.
Just let Mark Chapman know.
Here's Jordi Alba going back to Sergio Ramos, who chips it into the centre circle. So was it Germany, was it?
You've got it.
Yes. Anyway, you see, everything comes to those who wait. Diego Costa heads the ball on through the middle, but it runs straight to Akinfeev, who's able to pick it up. So Spain 1, Russia 0. The goal scored in the 12th minute, given eventually as an Ignashevich own goal. Sergio Ramos with a shove in the back on Juba, and actually he's taken a crack on the back of the head as well. Climbs to his feet. Sergio Ramos comes across, and as ever with Ramos, you just wonder, was there anything funny going on there?
Nothing, by the way. No. Saying Zuba's big and strong. No way. So he hit the ground there. He didn't even touch him.
He put his hand on his shoulder. Spain 1, Russia 0. Set piece. Set piece chance.
Good chance.
And the crowd sense it. And all around the Luzhniki, they're climbing to their feet. And they're waving their flags and they're slapping their clappers. And it's going to be delivered in to the Spanish penalty area. deep towards the back post, where it's headed across, and it's clearance on the stretch by Jordi Alba. And then Isco is challenged and beaten. That's not a free kick, so Russia come again with the ball on the right-hand side. Kuchepov with a cross. It's headed back across, a hanging ball, which is nodded away by Koke. Spain still not completely cleared their lines, but Isco magnificently lifts the ball over his opponent and then is bundled over by a combination of two Russians, and it's a free kick to Spain halfway inside their own half. And actually Spain, I think Koke and one or two others suggesting that wasn't a great foul on Isco.
The one before they were moaning about, when he tried to run it clear, he thought there was a foul there, and the Spanish players obviously not happy. A little bit of pressure by Russia, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to be brave, they've got to get up and really just give what you've got. And if you run out of steam, you run out of steam. But because at the minute, the way the two teams are playing, Spain's won this all day.
Still only one goal in it, and we are into the second quarter of the match. Almost 24 minutes played here in Moscow on what is now a very warm afternoon. Just one or two high wispy clouds through the circular opening in the roof above our heads, and Spain in possession. Spain in the kinder half of the draw as it's panned out. England's half. England against Colombia on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock BST. We will bring it to you in full, all of the build-up and the commentary from the Spartak Stadium in the north of Moscow. That on Tuesday night. But Spain coming forward as Isco tries to give it back to Jordi Alba. Russia half clear it. Isco's got it back, gives it to Jordi Alba, who can't reach it on the stretch, on the slide. It was over the line before he pulled it back, and it's a goal kick to the Russians.
Yeah, just overhit, wasn't it? Sloppy play. When Spain press high and quick with the tempo, they get it back very quickly, and Isco's had a great tournament for me so far. Just overhits that pass to Jordi Alba. It was very quick, but he couldn't keep that in.
Yes, Isco, Champions League winner, of course, with Real Madrid, this great Real Madrid that we are very lucky to be watching at the moment. The brilliant record in the Champions League in recent seasons, but not quite seeing the best of Isco at the moment with Real Madrid. But he's been given his head in this Spanish team, and he's playing well at this World Cup. A slip upfield, which means that the ball's been presented to Asensio, and Asensio's on the sprint up the right-hand side, but he can't keep the ball in. He's run it straight out of play. Throw in. Kudryashov is going to take it.
Well, I'm a big fan of Asensio, young player around Madrid, but a lot of talent. And when he plays, he's better down the middle, to be fair. But when Real Madrid put him on, they always put him on the left, and he causes problems. First time I've seen him play on the right.
Yeah, just assumed he was going to play on the left-hand side, but he's not. Asensio. Here is Kudryashov. Ball on the left-hand side, goes for one of those long diagonal balls looking for Fernandez, but he can't reach that, and it's out of play over his head for a throw into Spain in the Spanish left-back position. He's got a little bit of the Marcos Alonso about him, Mario Fernandez, the Russian number 2, who, as I say, was Brazilian-born, but he plays here in Moscow for CSKA, and he committed himself to play for Russia. He was granted permission by Vladimir Putin himself. A presidential decree was granted by Putin, and so, as you might expect, things seem to be smoothed over. And here he is playing for Russia at the World Cup, and Russia coming forward on the right-hand side, and with Zobnin winning a corner, a cross that hit the first defender and bounced behind. So another Russian corner from the right.
Well, they're actually coming into the game slightly, Russia, and more by Spain's sloppy play, to be honest, but they always got a chance from set pieces, always.
Coach Cherchesov is trying to whip the supporters up. Zhirkov is going to take this corner, might take it short, he might just tap it to Golovin, which is what he does. Golovin now pulls it back outside of the penalty area to Samyodov. Now Golovin again on the right-hand side. Samyodov has continued his run, tried to slip it through the legs of Diego Costa, actually, but Costa was able to block it, and then Isco runs it out of play on the halfway line, and it's another throw into Russia. So Spain 1, Russia 0. Get another update from the Grand Prix in Austria. Jack Nicholls is watching.
And Lewis Hamilton is out of the Grand Prix. He's just retired. His car lost power and he's out of the race. That means with Vettel running in third place, as it stands, Vettel will move into the lead of the championship. Lewis Hamilton out of the race.
Thank you, Jack. So no Lewis Hamilton victory in Austria, but you'll hear the rest of the race over on 5 Live Sports Extra, and obviously we'll round everything up for you at half-time, and I suspect the race will still be going. We've got about 20 minutes to go to half-time. The score: Spain 1, Russia 0, and later from 7 o'clock UK time, commentary on Croatia, Denmark. Pat Nevin will be alongside Ian Dennis in Nizhny Novgorod. I know because I've seen pictures on social media that Ian has been on the cable car in Nizhny Novgorod that you and I went on the other day, so I'm sure he'll be talking about that. I'm not sure that was quite his thing, actually, a cable car.
Just picture Trumpton.
And the ball with Spain inside their own half. Piqué lifts it across to Sergio Ramos.
I think where Spain's finding it a bit frustrating at times, John. They've overloaded the midfield, Russia, haven't they? And Spain love going into that centre circle, and they have little triangles and they move the ball around, but there's always 4 white shirts, sometimes 5 in there, and they can't come inside a lot, so they've got to go wide today.
So it's 1-0, and while it's 1-0, okay, yeah, they're Spain are such strong favourites in this position, but there's still a chance for Russia. And Spain, other than the goal, which was a bit of a scrappy affair in the way that it was scored, a free kick on the right that was delivered into the back post, and with Ignashevich all over Sergio Ramos, eventually the ball going in off Ignashevich's leg. Akinfeev has had nothing else to do.
No, Spain have at times got in good areas, wasted the opportunity, and it's again a World Cup of set pieces. It's a set piece they've scored from. But Russia's come back into the game, you can't say they haven't. And
here come Russia though with the ball on the right hand side. It's being taken on up the right by Zobnin, and Zobnin looking to cross, but the ball blocked out of play by a sliding Isco in the full-back area, and it is a throw-in that Fernandez will look to take. There's no ball boy or ball girl down there, so Fernandez has actually had to walk around behind the FIFA.com advertising hoarding and get the ball himself. That's not supposed to happen at the World Cup. Takes the throw in, Fernandez. Now back to Samyodov. The tall Fernandez again plays it back behind him to Kuchepov, who crossed straight into Diego Costa. It's very congested. Spain have got everybody back in their defensive third. Fernandez trying to take it on into the penalty area, the cheers, but it comes to absolutely nothing on the edge of the box. Brilliant drag back by Isco to beat Kuzyaev in centre field. That was superb. And then Spain keep possession, Asensio, and then it's back into the comfort area. The three of the old stagers, Piqué and Sergio Ramos and Busquets, all 3 of them now in excess of 100 caps. Gerard Piqué winning his 102nd here, having reached the century at this World Cup. To his left, Ramos, who's playing for Spain for the 155th time, and Busquets, who's winning his 107th cap. And with Sergio Ramos at the age of 32, there's no immediate sign, is there, of him calling it a day? He just loves playing.
Yeah, he does. His fitness levels have still remained with him, and he can carry on as long as he wants.
Yeah, he's in absolutely brilliant shape, isn't he, as well, with his sculpted beard. And here he is, green captain's armband on, swings a pass to the right-hand side to Nacho, who took that early bang on the knee from Zhirkov's challenge, but is obviously okay. 1-0 Spain lead, the own goal in the 12th minute. Jordi Alba back in field towards Isco. I think from a neutral point of view, and certainly from a Russian point of view, what they will be hoping for is that we get deep into the game and it's still only 1-0. And you never know, there might be 1 or 2 nerves creep into it. But Spain are so comfortable at the moment and just doing enough. Here's Isco chipping a ball out to the far side, but it's headed away, and Spain, Gerard Piqué will go all the way back. In fact, he just passes it to Sergio Ramos, and Spain start again from inside their own half.
I think, John, Russia's done a lot of legwork, and the subs will be vital today. It's a warm day, and they're doing a big shift. They're closing, running, chasing, shuttle after shuttle. Very difficult. The concentration levels drop. That's when Spain capitalise on it.
Yeah, Spain, who at this World Cup actually have been based down in the south of the country near Krasnodar, which is not too far away from Sochi, and we know how warm it can get down there. And they've come up here to Moscow, where it's still, as I say, quite a warm afternoon, but nothing like how hot it can get down south in Russia. Spain 1, Russia 0. the Luzhniki Stadium, the brilliantly rebuilt Luzhniki Stadium, which outside has a little bit of a touch of Berlin's Olympic Stadium about it, with the columns, the sandy coloured brickwork all the way around the stadium. Inside, a wave is sweeping round the ground, the spectators, and a throw-in to Spain 15 yards inside their own half. And now it's really gained momentum, this wave. It's a match which isn't providing a great deal of thrills and spills. Russia are working hard but not creating very much. Spain have got the goal and aren't busting a gut in that position, and so Spain playing it all the way back towards Piqué. Nacho was caught there again, but Spain are still in possession, so referee Kuipers allows Silva to play it to Asensio, who's come across towards the left-hand side. Now back to David Silva, and David Silva with his red Spanish shirt bobbing outside his blue shorts. Back towards Piqué again, and Ramos. This has been a lengthy period of Spanish possession. Russia can't get the ball back off the 2010 world champions.
Many teams have said that when they play Spain.
Yeah, many over the course of the last 32 matches. Here's Piqué. Piqué just knocks the ball on ahead of himself, but goes square. And we've seen multiple touches from most of the Spanish team during the course of this period of possession. Not too many up front, but Spain are just frustrating them. On a warm afternoon, they're making Russia run. And you can hear the crowd trying to lift the Russian team, but there's nothing they can do if they haven't got the ball. Jordi Alba, David Silva, Jordi Alba. Now Busquets with a positive touch out to the right-hand side. Koke flicks it to Nacho. Now it's back centrally with Isco, but Isco will just calm it all down again, and he turns. Isco could be no taller than 5'10" or so, low centre of gravity, and then a touch for Russia. Hooray! And however, it doesn't last for long. One touch and then Spain are back with the ball, and Spain have completed 300 passes, I'm just being told, in this match to Russia's 63, and that count is increasing by the second. 300 passes to Russia's 63. Well, I mean, it's so obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can say they've not worked the goalkeeper, and a lot of people will have that as a strength.
Here's Dzyuba though, winning a header, and now Golovin might be able to do something about this. Golovin on his right foot, trying to curl it across, which he does to Zobnin, and Zobnin into the penalty area, but a crucial touch. However, it's taken up again, and this might be a chance, and the shot is wide. A curling effort with his right foot by Alexander Golovin, and it was a couple of feet wide.
Well, it was the first time Dzyuba's really outfought, pushed, sort of won his battle with Ramos. Comes to Golovin, who comes inside, and you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bend it around Piqué, uses him as his target to that far corner, but just overhits it, and it's probably a yard or two wide.
Yeah, I mean, it was never threatening De Gea's goal, even though he dived to his left. It's actually quite misleading on an occasion like this, where the majority of the crowd are absolutely desperate. They are so desperate for Russia to create something that even something like that is going to be greeted by the crowd as though it's grazed the post. But as Chris said, it was a yard, maybe 2 yards wide. Spain leading Russia by 1-0. Half-time approaching. We're into the last 10 minutes of the first half here. And as for the Grand Prix, last we heard from Jack Nicholls, we heard that Lewis Hamilton is out of it. But what's happening, Jack?
Well, now Max Verstappen has won it for Red Bull. Kimi Raikkonen in second, Sebastian Vettel third. With Hamilton out, that means Vettel leads the championship now by 1 point. On the second lap of the Grand Prix, Hamilton was going to lead the championship by 31 points. An incredibly dramatic afternoon. Verstappen wins the race.
Thanks, Jack. We'll have a full update from you and the team, Alan McNeish and co, at half-time in this match. So Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix, and you can catch the last knockings of that and all of the reaction right now over on 5 Live Sports Extra. But Spain 1, Russia 0, with 7 minutes or so plus added time to play until half-time, and Russia going all the way back into their own half. It's been brilliant to watch Spain so comfortable in possession of the ball, But really, in terms of thrills and spills, we've been short of it.
No, I think Russia's a little bit, you can say, scared of Spain. They don't want to come out and leave gaps where we know Spain will exploit. So they've tried to keep tight. Even though one down, they just get the odd attack. They've come into the game a bit more, don't we? So, but Spain are still totally in control.
Kuzyaev, who's come into the team, and the news that we heard on when the Russian team news announced that Denis Cheryshev, who's scored 3 goals for them here, came on as a substitute here in the opening match when there was that injury, of course, to Alan Zagoev, who had to go off, who's been out of the tournament since. That was another blow for Russia when they had so many injuries in the build-up to the tournament. But Cheryshev came in, scored 3 goals in 2 matches, and with this change of system today, he's been left out of the team. But at only 1-0, you never know, we might see him later. Here's Fernandez, who keeps it in. Then the ball's played across and it comes off the knee of Koke and rebounds behind for a corner.
Well, where they're getting a bit of joy is with the wing-backs, the 2 wide lads, and what happens is Isco and Asensio don't really track them, so they let them run. The full-backs are getting narrow. There's a little bit of space developing on the flanks for Russia, and yet they've got another corner.
Yeah, 39th minute. They've had 3 corners, and now Samyedov preparing to take this from the right-hand side. 4 Russian players inside the penalty area. 3 of them are grouped beyond the penalty spot, and there are 5 Spaniards almost in a ring around them. So Samyedov with the corner to the back post. Oh, it's a header that struck the arm of Piqué, and the penalty's given for handball against Gerard Piqué. His arm was in the air, it was headed towards him, and it's been given as a penalty. Piqué, well, the Spanish players can't believe it, but Djuba headed it, and Piqué's arm, with his back to the ball, his arm was in the air, Djuba's header hit Piqué's upright arm, and it's a penalty, and it's a yellow card for Piqué as well.
I've got to say, at first you think no, but why has he kept his arm up in the air? His right arm goes down, his left arm stays in the air, and I think that's a deliberate. So I think the referee's got it right.
Well, the Spanish players are saying that he had to have his arms in the air because he was jumping. But we can see Piqué and Sergio Ramos in front of referee Kuipers. They're saying his arms had to be in the air because he was jumping aerially for it. Yep. I mean, he had his back to Djuba when he headed it, but the arm's in the air, and the ball hits the upright arm. So it's a penalty to Russia. The host nation holds its breath because Russia have the chance to equalise against Spain at the Luzhniki, and it is Artem Djuba who's been given the responsibility to take this all-important penalty. He stands just a yard inside the penalty area, and now Samyedov is complaining because Jordi Alba's still in the box. De Gea returns to his line, and now, what a moment this is. What a moment to equalise for Russia, and he scores! It's 1-1! He sent De Gea the wrong way! What a moment! What a noise in Moscow! It's Spain 1, Russia 1!
Well, you never saw this coming, did you? Let's be honest. They've huffed and they've puffed, and they've never got near, really. De Gea's had nothing to do, and they've had a go, yes. And it's been Spain who've dominated possession, 70% they've had, and all of a sudden, there you go. You get a bit of good fortune, ball in the box, play to his strength, Zuba. I think it's a pen. I know Spain are going to argue, but he had one arm down. Why did he leave the other arm up? He's being caught out. It's a great pen. Under pressure, 1-1.
He's a little unlucky, I'd say that. You know, the set of circumstances were such that Djuba's header hits his arm, but his arm's stretched straight up in the air. I agree with you, Chris. I think that's a penalty. When it hits an arm in that position inside the penalty area, it's not like the arms are outstretched to his side, it's up in the air. It's a penalty. Djuba scored it, which means he's now scored 3 goals at this World Cup. Who'd have thought? And it's 1-1, and now Spain have got to raise themselves here. That was always the danger, winning 1-0, just comfortable. And now here's Jordi Alba, half-time approaching. Jordi Alba plays it into Fernandez, and the ball bounces away for Russia towards the corner flag, and Fernandez wins a throw-in. off David Silva, and you can sense a little bit of belief now around the stadium. Don't look at me like that.
I look at Spain, and it's all right changing the team, but they said they were going to play a lot quicker, a bit more direct. They haven't. They've passed the ball actually more within yes, they're not in the team, and they've not really had any ambition, Spain. All right, they got a goal on the set piece, which was an own goal, but really, yes, they've dominated possession up to the last 30-40 yards of the pitch. No ambition after that.
And the coach, Stanislav Cherchesov, Stan, he couldn't look when the penalty was taken. He actually turned and looked the other way and let the crowd tell him Guillaume Balaguer's just arrived. Doesn't look that impressed, Chris. We're going to hear from Guillaume at half-time.
If you want to play possession, then yeah, you can be impressed, but you've got to sometimes think, you know what, with all this possession, we've got to have efforts at goal, whether it's shots, crosses, through balls, whatever. Headers.
I think we've got used to the fact that Guillaume, that's a late one on Jordi Alba. That wasn't a great challenge by Samyodov. I mean, Jordi Alba reacted.
He's not booking him then.
And threw himself to the ground. Samyodov is protesting his innocence. I don't think it's going to be a yellow card. And Jordi Alba's okay. He came in at force, but there was no nasty contact. No. So it's a free kick to Spain. Yeah, I get the impression that Guillaume is quite a nervy watcher of Spain over the course of the matches that we've seen. Well, and when he turned up today, I thought he might be a little bit more relaxed, but not a bit of it. And now actually with some justification, because it's 1-1. And here is David Silva. Spain taking the lead with their own goal, the Ignashevich own goal in the 12th minute, but Russia equalising in the 42nd with that Dzyuba penalty. Dzyuba, who has now a very decent rate actually. Here, Spain though, coming with the ball. Diego Costa on the edge of the area, gives it to Isco on the left-hand side. Isco curls it goalwards and it's blocked inside the penalty area. And the ball ricochets out of play. It actually hit Kryukov and bounced right out for a throw-in on the left-hand side, down below us.
This is what annoys you about Spain. You know, they go one up and they just basically come right off the pace, possession game, no ambition to score. Now they've got to equalise. Russia's equalised. Now they've upped the tempo again. Why can't they keep the tempo decent all the time? Don't get it.
We saw this to an extent, didn't we, in Sochi in the Portugal game. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. It's Spain 1, Russia 1. And now it is Spain coming forward. The ball played through to Costa. The angle's tight. He's been able to hook it across. The goalkeeper Akinfeev got a touch as well, and it looped across the 6-yard box. And Spain were able to Russia were able to scramble it out for a throw, which has been taken quickly to Busquets. I thought, I didn't think Diego Costa was going to get to that, but he somehow got there ahead of Akinfeev from an angle on the right side of the area. And now Koke, number 8, picks out a pass aerially, taken down in the midriff by Isco. Spain have come to life here after the equaliser. Isco to the edge of the area, curls it in towards the back post. Diego Costa with a header, but no real power on that. And Akinfeev can take it easily. And Akinfeev overarms it out now to Golovin. And Dzyuba is trying to make ground through the middle. Golovin in possession. Golovin chips it across towards Dzyuba, but Ramos is there to chest it down coolly to De Gea.
Brilliant, Ramos. Absolute class. But counter-attack gets the crowd going, but Spain now go through the gears. They've put the ball in the box probably in the last 3-4 minutes than they have the whole of the first half.
Dzyuba wasn't exactly going through the gears there, by the way.
No, I think he was...
Golovin was in possession of the far side. Dzyuba was...
I think if you had to fill him up, it would be Diesel.
It was like watching one of the lorries on Sutton Bank in North Yorkshire that struggled to get up the hill.
I bet you wear gloves.
Of course you do. When you fill up with diesel, you wear the plastic gloves. Everyone does. Spain 1, Russia 1. Jordi Alba playing it back to Sergio Ramos. And half-time approaching, just a few seconds away. And who would have thought that the game would still be in the balance? Spain have absolutely dominated possession. We're 1-0 up. We just thought the floodgates would likely open. Russia looked bereft of confidence. But a fortunate break for Russia. The penalty given their way. Now Dzyuba and Sergio Ramos are tangling and pulling one another. But the half-time whistle's gone. And Dzyuba will actually head straight off the field. So he's becoming a national hero. Artem Dzyuba. He scored from the penalty spot. He made it 1-1. And so Russia are still in it, Chris Waddle.
They are, yeah. Well, it'd be quite easy to sum up the first half. Spain have the football for 95% of the game, and they come out now, look dangerous on the counter-attack or a set piece, and they get themselves a pen to equalise from obviously an own goal early on from a set piece. And then Spain have dominated possession, you can't say that, but they don't affect the final third, and they do now in the last 5 minutes because they've equalised the back, up the tempo. Spain, for me, are always at fault. They come off the pace so easy and they've let teams come back at them. So they've got to raise the tempo from the second half if they want to win this game.
So it's Spain 1, Russia 1 at half-time, and we'll take you back around the loops and the winding Moscow River to our Red Square studio where Mark Chapman is sitting.
They haven't had a shot on target, Spain, in that first half. Chris?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, Gillian was saying before that they've changed the system. They're going a bit more direct and a bit. I think they've passed the ball more now than they've passed in any other game. They've made changes for a bit more pace and maybe a bit more legs, but they haven't. They've just played a so slow match. Once they went 1-0 up, you thought, right, go and add to it, keep the tempo up, next 15-20 minutes, get the second, and then you've got game over. They don't. What they've done in this tournament, they've done it every game. They come off the pace, they invite the other team on to get corners, to get free kicks, and we've seen this is a tournament of set pieces, yet Spain are inviting it onto them all the time. And Gilliam might have a different thingy on the goal. For me, it was a pen. He shouldn't have left his arm in the air. Now they've got to do it all against Spain, and they could end up losing this.
Are they arrogant? I.e., we've got a goal. Okay, overconfident. We've got a goal, we'll knock it around, they're not going to cause us any problems.
Come and get the ball off, but there's no tempo about it, and then eventually it falls flat and Russia's at you and they're getting corners and free kicks from it and they're causing problems to it.
Guillaume, are you worried?
Of course. Welcome to 45 minutes of rubbish tiki-taka football. This is just unbearable. Honestly, tiki-taka is the kind of thing that Isco does, just passing the ball around, as you were saying, verging on the arrogant. Proper positional and possession football, it's when you get the ball to the danger areas, to the edge of the box, but you want to have the ball, you have to be one of those players that want the ball in those positions. You have to move to be able to get a little bit of a space so somebody can give it to you, and you have to have the one that gives it to you. There is none of the sort. Why is Iniesta special for us? Because you will always find him in a place surrounded by players with enough pocket of a space to do something and link with the attack. There's nobody who wants to do that, and the plan was to go down the wings perhaps a little bit and try to find some space in the middle, find Costa. There was none of the sort. It was rubbish.
They can't go through the middle like they like to, because let's be fair, Russia have put 3 to 4 bodies in there, so they have got to use the flanks. But Isco's getting out the ball, and he's been positive odd times, don't get us wrong. Asensio's never been in the game, and Koke's never been in the game, so you might as well say I'm going to start Iniesta second half because he can't see a pass. But it's about the tempo of Spain, and it always is. When the play's slow like that, yes, you can have all the possession, you do not hurt anybody.
Did you think it was a penalty, Guillaume?
Yeah, it was a penalty.
Okay.
He raised the hands above his head, and even though he didn't know much about it, they give him those kind of penalties in this World Cup.
Paul, here we go again. Spain boring us all to death. They're so boring to watch. Hope anyone knocks them out. As far as the Ignashevich own goal, Chris, he got exactly what he deserved. I mean, if you know, how at international level can a centre half, and by the way, a centre half who is 39 this month, has got 120 odd caps for his country, how does he not look at the ball and just look at the man?
And listen, this tournament, and the referee goes to them before every corner. I'm watching you, no holding. You know what's going to happen if you do. I'm going to blow me whistle. And he's not even looking at. He's actually looking Ramos in the face. The ball comes in, and a clue where it is. Hits the back of his calf and goes into net. And he should have been booked as well, because he had Ramos wrestled to the ground. It was embarrassing. So I don't get it. I just do not get it. They've been warned, they've been told, and they still do it.
Andy G says, look at the ball. He would clear that easily. Look at the man, and he scores an own goal. Particularly like James D's tweet using hashtag BBC World Cup. If Sergio Ramos fell in a canal, he'd come out with a new bike. Keep them coming. 85058. Ekaterina Malavichko is with us as well, sports journalist out here in Russia. And my man Juba didn't let anybody down, did he?
Oh yeah.
What a man, what a player.
Yeah, and I think we are watching kind of bromance between him and Ramos already. Exactly as we announced. It's going to be interesting so far. One shot, one goal, you see. Although the penalty, then I think so far Dzyuba is on his place there.
Yeah, he is, because Dzyuba can claim the assist for the penalty because he won the header that went into PK's arm. So assist and a goal for himself. The other thing, though, you were showing me, was that a tweet that was doing the rounds on Russian social media about how they put the kickoff in the graphic of 1700, but 17 was next to Spain and the 0 was next to Russia, so people were assuming that.
And people joke this is gonna be the final score, especially after the first goal. We said like, wow, it has begun.
Do you think you have a chance?
Now I think we have chance because, as they said, the hair is not stable. Actually, as well as Igor Akinfeev, because they both can make very weird mistakes. They can make weird mistakes. In my opinion, they both are very similar. Then both teams have chance, but we have, once they scored, I think they feel more confident, because what we were afraid of was the first goal, to miss the goal very soon and then to lose confidence, to lose the audience. Now they got it back, then now I think they feel better.
Spain won, Russia won at half-time in this last 16 tie. Here in Moscow, let's get the latest from the women's T20 Tri-Series final between England and New Zealand. Henry Moran.
New Zealand are batting first, 14 overs gone, 98 for 5 is the score. Quick start from the openers Devine and Bates, but when Catherine Brunt took 2 wickets in an over, that really put the brakes on things, and we haven't seen a boundary now for over 5 overs. England very much on top, 98 for 5 New Zealand after 14 overs. Coverage on 5 Live Sports Extra.
6 minutes to 4. This is BBC Radio 5 Live on a Sunday afternoon, and Stuart Clarkson has the news.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet. This is BBC 5 Live.
Norfolk police say a girl has died after being thrown from a bouncy castle at a beach in Galston. An investigation involving the Health and Safety Executive, local authority and police has started. Police say the Moorland fire in Lancashire is expected to last another week. Yesterday, 2 large fires merged into one on Winter Hill and Scout Road near Bolton. The Chief Executive of NHS England says extensive planning is underway to prepare the health service for the possibility of no deal with the EU after Brexit. Simon Stevens says they've been working with the government to make sure the UK continues to get medical supplies. Asda is rationing the amount of some fizzy drinks that online customers can buy because of the national CO2 shortage. It affects the store's own label soft drinks as well as several brands. And French authorities say a notorious gangster has broken out of a prison in Paris. Redouane Faïd, who's serving a 25-year sentence, escaped by helicopter with the help of several heavily armed men. This is his second prison break.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
A busy afternoon on the roads. On the M25 first, on the Surrey stretch, we got queuing traffic after a breakdown around junction 13 for Staines. Around Bristol, the junction of the M32 M4, there's been quite a serious accident there. It means there's an exit slip road closed off the M32 at the M4 junction at junction 19, and the exit slip off the M4 as well on the eastbound stretch is closed there at junction 19 of the M4. The M6 in the West Midlands heading north, one lane is closed after a breakdown between junction 6, Spaghetti Junction, and junction 7 at Great Bar. Further up the M6 in Cheshire, we've got queuing traffic on the southbound stretch at the moment after a car fire between Middlewich at junction 18 and Sandbach at 17. That's through the roadworks there. The M62 in Greater Manchester is queuing. The exit slip road coming off at Simister Island from the westbound M62. This is where it goes onto the M60 and the M66. That is closed at the moment, so you are going to experience some delays if you're heading that direction westbound on the M62. And in Lancashire, the M55 heading west towards Blackpool, one lane is blocked still at junction 4, which is the A583 for Blackpool. Stuart Clarkson, 5 Live Travel.
Robbie Savage's World Cup Breakfast.
Is that the Chris Sutton? Yes, the Chris Sutton.
Alex Scott, who won 140 caps for the Lionesses.
Good morning.
Good morning, Scholesy.
Good morning.
Who have you been impressed with?
Jordan Anderson.
Let's bring in our good friend, Rio Ferdinand.
I think it's added an entertainment value to the game.
I'm the man of the nation.
I'm going to tell you, not speaking for me.
Robbie Savage's World Cup Breakfast. Back Monday morning from 8:30.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Live from Russia, this is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
And Spain and Russia are 1-1 at half-time, second half on the way. But let's go to Birmingham next, British Athletics Championships, women's 200 metres final, to be watched by Mike Costello.
And this includes Jodie Williams at 24 on a comeback trail of sorts. As a junior, she had an unbeaten run of some 150 races, but her career has started since then. But in the United States and here today in the opening round heat, which doubled up as a semi-final, she looked mightily impressive. She's drawn here in the favourable lane number 6. To her inside in lane 5, also an impressive winner earlier on, Beth Dobbin of Edinburgh AC, who broke the Scottish record in reaching this final. In lane 4, Shannon Hilton from Blackheath and Bromley, just 21 years of age, one of very promising twins. And Bianca Williams is drawn in lane number 3. She's the second quickest in this field so far. You may hear the starters announcement in the background calling the athletes forward. The women's long jump has just been suspended down immediately in front of us, with Lorraine Ugan leaping 7 metres and 5 centimetres, just shy of the British record, and that is the longest leap by any athlete in any country anywhere in the world so far this year. High class athletics here on the second day of the British Championships. They're down on their blocks over on the far side of the stadium for the women's 200 metres final. Jodie Williams drawn in lane number 6. And they're underway. Williams has Finette Agyapong on her outside to chase through the first 80 metres, and she started in brilliant style with Beth Dobbin chasing her through in second place. Round into the home straight they come. Williams has a narrow advantage from Bianca Williams towards the inside. Shannon Hilton also running strongly. This is going to be desperately close. Beth Dobbin, the Scottish record holder, finishing strongest of all and just gets there on the line. Dobbin wins in a time of 22.52 seconds. It's yet another Scottish record for Beth Dobbin, who takes the British title just ahead of Bianca Williams in second place.
Thank you very much, Mike. Let's go to Austria next, where Max Verstappen has won the Grand Prix, finishing ahead of Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel. And that third place for Vettel means he regains the top spot in the Drivers' Championship, because Lewis Hamilton was forced to retire after losing power. Jack Nicholls and Jolyon Palmer join us on 5 Live Sport. Assess that Verstappen win then, Jack.
Well, it was a very impressive performance from him, really. In a car that was the slowest of the top 3, he did amazingly well to take victory. But both Mercedes retired. Sebastian Vettel was given a penalty after qualifying, so he started further back. But even on lap 1, it was Hamilton leading the Grand Prix with Bottas in second place. It looked job done for Mercedes, but it just slipped through their fingers. It was quite an own goal, actually, to put it bluntly.
And Hamilton was unhappy even before he had to stop, was he?
He was. Well, he took the lead at the start. He did everything right then. But when Bottas had his failure about 20 laps in, everyone else stopped under the virtual safety car. They got a huge advantage on Hamilton. So with one Mercedes out, Hamilton then really had the strategy blown even before he retired. So he was unhappy. And then when he retired ultimately from the race, it was just compounding the misery.
And as far as it is concerned at the top of the Drivers' Championship, it means Sebastian Vettel, as I say, goes back into the lead, Jack.
And it's a massive swing, because it was a victory for Hamilton a week ago in Paul Ricard. He's always strong at Silverstone, which is the British Grand Prix next week. So a win here would have really put him in championship control. When he was leading, the gap at the top of the standings would have gone up to 31 points. That's how it stood on lap 1. 71 laps later, he's suddenly trailing in the championship. A disaster.
And Jack, he's with us right now. Lewis, obviously not the race you wanted for Mercedes or for yourself. Just talk to us about how you're feeling and what happened through that race. What a mess.
Yeah, right now I'm feeling, I don't know. I just lost the Grand Prix. I just lost 25 points, so it's not a great feeling. For all of us, it's like you take a few steps forwards and then you slide 10 back. So I just fell back again behind Sebastian. There's been a lot of points lost this year, but it's been a really tough weekend. That is a tough day, particularly for our team, and the best thing we can do is try to stay strong for each other and regroup and try to come back stronger next week.
James, your strategist, came onto you on the radio and said during that race, "I'm really sorry, I've lost this for you." What do you say to him? What do you say to the fans?
I don't say. I saw him in the garage. We had a hug. is always brutally honest with himself and with everyone. So we could have all done a better job this weekend, and we've really got to try to understand. But it's very rare that we have these DNF, and it's really incredibly unusual for us to have 2 on one weekend as well. So really shame, because we had a great car and we were looking very strong today, but we will live to fight another day.
Thank you very much. Lewis Hamilton there speaking after he went out of the race, and also a DNF for the other Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. A bad day for them, Mark Chapman.
Back underway in the Luzhniki Stadium, John Murray.
Spain have given the ball to Golovin, but Golovin not able to take advantage, passes the ball out towards the right flank. Russia have made a change, I'll tell you about that in a moment. Fernandez trying to weave his way into the penalty area, but runs into red Spanish shirts, and David Silva wins a throw in. What Russia have done is brought on another central defender. Actually, it's Yuri Zhirkov who's been substituted, who is playing at left wing back, and Vladimir Granat, the number 14 from Rubin Kazan, has been brought on. So he is going to be the left-sided of the 3 centre-backs, and Fyodor Kudryashov has moved across to the left wing-back position. So that's the Russian change. Spain, as they started the game, De Gea in goal, Nacho, Gerard Piqué, Sergio Ramos and Jordi Alba, Koke and Busquets, David Silva, Isco, Asensio and Diego Costa. Iniesta only among the substitutes, likewise Thiago Alcantara. And the Russian side, Akinfeyev in goal, as I say, 3 central defenders, Kuchepov, Ignashevich and now Granat, Fernandez and now Kudryashov are the wing-backs, with Samyodov, Zobnin, Kuzyaev, Golovin and goal scorer Dzyuba, who scored from the penalty spot to make it 1-1, and that is how it stands. Spain scoring early, Ignashevich's own goal, Russia equalising late in the half. And now the ball played in from the right-hand side by Nacho. It's chipped across by Asensio. It's gone a long way. It's deflected across the face of goal off Jordi Alba, but Akinfeyev is able to move quickly to his left. It came very quickly to Jordi Alba, and it almost hit him on the thigh as much as anything and looped goalwards.
It did, right thigh, and he's just direct on the target. There's no pace on it, so it's an easy save, but great start from Spain. They've obviously had words about the tempo, because it was walking football they were playing. Yes, they can have all the possession, but they never affected the goal.
So 2 minutes played in the second half. We're live in the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. This is where the opening match of the tournament took place. It's where the final will take place 2 weeks today. And Russia with the ball on the right-hand side. Oh, Fernandez has done well to pull that ball down. He gets it back. Fernandez allows it to run actually to Kuzyaev. Now the cross from the right-hand side, and Koke had to be back in position, but he was for Spain to head it up and away out of the penalty area at least. Busquets then clears it further, and now it's whacked by Kutyapov high out towards the left-hand side. Kudryashov will do well to keep it in, and actually it deflects out of play for a throw-in to Spain halfway inside their own half. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see Russia's top scorer at this World Cup, or at least now their joint top scorer, Denis Cheryshev, who was being prepared, or at least certainly seemed to be going through rigorous warm-ups during the course of the half-time break, left out of the starting lineup for this game with the change of system. And actually we're going to see a drop ball.
I don't know why.
And it's been put out of play by Dzyuba.
Spain's got a couple warming up. They've got Thiago and Iniesta warming up.
So we just need to see a little bit more positivity from Spain. Move the ball. Yeah,
move the ball quicker. A little more options. At the minute, it's walking football. They're playing in front of Russia, and Russia have dealt with them very, very comfortably. Let's be honest. So it's up to Spain here, because Russia's going to play this certain style counter-attack, but it's up to Spain to up the tempo if they want to take the lead again.
We know France and Uruguay are already through to the quarter-finals. This is the third of the last 16 matches. We'll have commentary live from Nizhny Novgorod later. The attractive city of Nizhny Novgorod, as we well know from having been there ourselves during the course of this World Cup. Croatia-Denmark is the match there tonight, so Croatia obviously the strong favourites. That'll be with Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis live from the stadium. And then tomorrow, commentaries at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock UK time. Brazil-Mexico and Belgium-Japan live from Samara and Rostov on the day that Wimbledon begins across the BBC tomorrow. You can listen, watch or follow it online over the course of the next couple of weeks with us at the BBC. Here's Nacho on the right. Nacho and Asensio, little late challenge just came in from Golovin. It's a free kick to Spain here on the right flank. It's just Nacho just caught.
It was a foul, but it'll be interesting to see how long Russia can keep this tempo up. They've been really working hard to try and get that ball back. Frustrate Spain.
Yes, Russia with currently 30%. Spain 70% of the ball. Russia 30. And it's a free kick to Spain on the right. Koke is going to take the number 8, the one-club man with Atletico Madrid. Here's Koke's delivery in towards the penalty spot, which is headed by Sergio Ramos goalwards, but it is high over the top of the crossbar and behind for a goal kick to Russia. So the score is 1-1. Russia, who are into the group stages of the World Cup for the first time since Soviet days, for the first time since you were playing in the World Cup in 1986, when they were, of course, the Soviet Union. Never got beyond the group stage since they reverted to the name of Russia. And they are still in it, despite the fact that, on the face of it, Spain look vastly superior in terms of possession. Russia managed to haul themselves back into it with a fortunate break in the terms of the fact that Djuba's header hit Piqué's arm, which was stretched up in the air from the corner. Penalty given, Djuba scored it, and now we are level at 1-1 and in the second half of the match.
And if you actually look at it, John, player-wise, it's like Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona.
And here's Nacho down the right-hand side. Nacho of Real Madrid onto his left foot, crossing towards the penalty spot, where Kucherpov is able to dive across and head it away in front of Diego Costa, who's barely had a sniff of the goal. That effort that was blocked by the goalkeeper from an angle late in the first half was it. Now, though, coming forward with David Silva into the penalty area, that's a superbly timed challenge inside the box by Kucherpov, and he's able to clear it away towards the halfway line. Cheers from the home supporters. 80,000 people are thereabouts in. This is the absolutely must-have ticket at the World Cup if you're a Russian football supporter. And it's so far okay with a scoreline of 1-1. Okay, and here's Koke. But Isco is dispossessed, and then it's given away centrally. Comes to absolutely nothing. Granat, the substitute. David Silva tries to slip it through to the edge of the area, and that slid out of play for a throw into Spain on the far side.
I'll tell you what, they're doing well, Russia, though. When Spain do get decent possession, they go to thread that ball through off a Costa run or whoever Isco makes. They've read the pass well. They've anticipated where it's going, and they've intercepted a lot of passes.
Yeah, and now Nacho again as Spain start on the right-hand side. Here's Asensio on the right flank. Here he goes, back onto his left foot, of course. Swings it towards the back post where Isco heads it across. Diego Costa was waiting, it's headed out. Busquets shoots, although slices a shot that lacked any power, and Russia were able to clear it away quite easily and simply downfield to Gerard Piqué, who passes it back to De Gea, who chips it out to Ramos, who heads it in field to Busquets. And they had to be careful there, but that was a brilliant period of possession. Silva was involved, Jordi Alba. Now Isco is blatantly tugged back by Fernandez, and that's a yellow card.
Got to be.
And that could have been, if they'd scored from that, that would have been magical.
You don't get much better than that. There was a little bit of risk to it, to say the least, but they came through. You've got to say Spain, I think Russia are feeling the pace. They have come off the pace a lot. And Spain have upped the tempo slightly, not a lot, a little bit, but I think Russia's starting to feel the pace of the game.
It's actually Kucherpov who pulled the shirt of Isco, so it's a yellow card for Kucherpov. Free kick for Spain, out towards the left-hand side. 5 Live at the World Cup, live from Moscow. Spain 1, Russia 1. Isco, who's going to deliver this with his left foot, or is that Asensio? To Asensio. Isco is in a central position. Here's the delivery from Asensio, but it's cleared away. The right boot of Granat, and now it's thumped forward for Golovin to chase, but it was always Jordi Alba who was the favourite to get there, having sprinted across the pitch at full tilt, and he is able to get the ball down, and Spain are back in possession. And the tall figure, the great Fernando Hierro, now the acting coach after being brought in to replace Julen Lopetegui just before the World Cup. He was applauding as well. Hierro, he of the furrowed brow and heavy eyebrows, is standing white-shirted with his hand on his chin, watching this Spanish side, labouring somewhat in front of 80,000 people, and actually the King of Spain's here as well. King Felipe is sitting alongside Gianni Infantino, but no Vladimir Putin. Wonder if I'm sure he had a very good reason for not being here. I'm sure it wasn't fearing the worst, but it is not turning out like that. Isco on the left-hand side. Isco, attempted flick by Diego Costa. Russia back in possession. Zuba's running it forward, but he runs into red shirts. Russia in the all-white kit today with the blue trim. And then a crossfield pass by Sergio Ramos is nowhere near anyone in a red shirt. It's out of play for a throw-in halfway inside the Russian half. 1-1.
Russia slowing the game down as much as possible. Look, throw in now, no rush to take it. They're feeling the pace. They put a massive shift in first half, closing Spain down, intercepting the balls, running, chasing, blocking angles, lanes off. It's been difficult for them. They're feeling the pace.
So the throw-in eventually is taken by Kudryashov, this late developer in his 30s who really came to international football relatively late in his career under coach Cherchesov. They've worked the ball out to Fernandes now on the right-hand side, the Brazilian-born right wing-back as he is today, but he turns and plays it back into his own half to Kuchepov. And then here's the 38-year-old Ignashevich in the centre of the defence. Ignashevich, who had resisted calls to come back to play in this World Cup, but they were desperate and he agreed to come, and here he is starting every match at the World Cup. Scored an own goal in this one, but a long pass downfield, and Sergio Ramos has been forced to concede a corner.
He thought it was a foul. He thought he got a push there in the back, which he probably had a little bit of a claim, to be honest. He miskicks the clearance, it goes out for a corner, and again you can see the threat they've got from set pieces.
Samyedov and Golovin are in discussions there, the two of them. Golovin, who it's now been quite widely reported might be on his way to Chelsea, so we might be seeing a great deal more of Russia's number 17 in the Premier League next season. But here he is involved with the atmosphere building, swirling around the huge bowl of the Luzhniki Stadium down below us, as the corner is taken by Samyedov to the near post, but that's swept away by Diego Costa, but he's just given it back to Fernandes. Fernandes now crossing for Russia, but that's headed away securely by Nacho, and Golovin is caught in possession, but he does well. Golovin gets up, wins the ball back, and then the free kick's given against him, so Spain have the ball in front of their own penalty area. A little pass in field from David Silva. Just over half an hour to play, and it's Spain 1, Russia 1. Didn't expect extra time in this one, did we?
I don't think anybody did they? They all thought this was sort of a bit of a tricky game for Spain, but they've come through it quite comfortably. So it's,
I did say to you, don't book that Georgian restaurant too early.
Well,
and you wouldn't have it, would you?
You wouldn't get there anyway. It's in Tbilisi.
Yes, Diego Costa on the left-hand side. Diego Costa passing the ball back into the penalty area. Isco takes it on, shoots from the angle, but there were three Russian defenders and Akinfeyev there, and they blocked it behind for what is actually Spain's first corner of the match.
Now, could he not have hit that first time? It's a good pullback from the byline. Could he not just swing his left foot at it?
It's a corner. And somebody's, just as he was about to take it, one of our Russian friends threw the ball down from the stands, and Isco didn't take terribly kindly to that. He's whacked it. He almost whacked it onto the top tier. So Isco's ready now, takes the corner into the near post, and that's headed away by Big Zuba. Safely and securely clears the Russian lines, and it's back towards the halfway line, where Spain have to start again from inside their own half. There was a touch of frustration, wasn't there, in Isco?
Just a little bit.
Volleying the ball.
He nearly got into the private boxes, didn't he?
It did, yeah. Behind one of the goals. There's actually some spare seats in that thin level of corporate seats. Maybe the sun's too hot in that area because it is in direct sunshine. Maybe they're inside watching it from behind smoked glass. Spain 1, Russia 1. Here's Asensio on the right-hand side. Spain are parked inside Russian territory. Now Sergio Ramos to the left-hand side. Isco comes short. Ramos gets it back again. Ramos, one of the string of Champions League winners this season in this Spanish squad. Here's Gerard Piqué, winner of the Spanish League with Barcelona this season, almost runaway winners of that. He's got his black Spanish socks pulled right up over his knees. Now to Sergio Ramos again. Isco is going to start off on a little run over there. Jordi Alba's available. Isco Then back to Sergio Ramos infield, who's halfway inside the Russian half. Back it goes towards Piqué, who's near the centre circle. I think we're going to be seeing Cheryshev very shortly. Here's Nacho with the cross from the right-hand side. David Silva got up, actually got his head to it, but glanced it well wide of the goal.
A lot better by Spain now, John. They've played a higher tempo and they pushed Russia back, who are feeling the pace.
But here is Denis, the hero of Russia, Denis Cheryshev, who grew up in Spain, moved there when he was 5 years old. His father was transferred to Sporting Gijón, and he ended up growing up in Spain. He was at Gijón as a youngster, and he ended up now at Villarreal. And listen to this cheer. I think the whole of Russia is hanging its hat on Denis Cheryshev, who trots onto the field. He was actually at Real Madrid for quite a period of time too, hardly played for them, but he knows everyone in this Spanish squad. And Russia, as Cheryshev is cheered onto the pitch, and he's replaced Samedov. So Samedov making way. That's the second Russian change, and Cheryshev is taking up a position here on the left-hand side. The number 6 as he's wearing at this World Cup. Here now with the score at 1-1. Koke's given it away. That's a poor pass. He was trying to find Jordi Alba. Spain are definitely giving Russia a bit of encouragement here with 1 or 2 wayward passes. They're just a little sloppy around the edges.
I think it's time for me to get Iniesta on. The game's open now, really open. Russia feeling the pace. They've dropped off. There's a lot of space. Iniesta with his quality and vision, he should be coming on the pitch now.
Yeah, Iniesta, who has not scored at a tournament. Amazing this, isn't it? Iniesta's not scored at a tournament, World Cup, European Championship, since he scored the winner in the final in Johannesburg in 2010. 1-1 it is, and this match, amazingly, is in the balance. Piqué in the centre circle. We're at the last half hour now, and it's still 1-1. Nacho to Koke, and across it goes, but Spain just not moving the ball quickly here, just the slow, but they're lacking the quick. Isco then gives it away, and every time this happens, Russia gain more confidence. Dzyuba now to the right-hand side where Fernandez throws himself down, and the challenge came in on him from Sergio Ramos, everybody's public enemy number 1, and it's a free kick that has been given, but not a great deal in it.
Well, makes a meal of it. The referee buys it.
So it's a free kick to Russia. Again, Russia in absolutely no hurry here. They will take this as a scoreline all the way to the 120th minute if they can. 1-1. Ignashevich waiting to take this in his orange boots. High ball to the edge of the area. Dzyuba gets his head to it. Oh, and it's a slip at the crucial moment by Kudryashov, and it's behind for
I'm really surprised, John, that Spain, with all their know-how and experience, they've got so much that when they're going to play a long ball up to Dzyuba, why don't they put one in front and one behind? They let them get a run, let them go to head it, get somebody in front of them.
Spain 1, Russia 1. 5 Live at the World Cup. Every morning when you wake up, you can download the 5 Live World Cup daily podcast. I think Didier Drogba features on today's podcast. You can get it via the 5 Live website, the BBC Sport website. Spain coming forward now with Diego Costa, head down into the penalty area on the left-hand side. But the flag's up very belatedly for an offside. And it's a free kick to Russia halfway inside their own half. And actually Russia are going to make their final change now, their third change, with over 25 minutes to play. And I don't know if Dzyuba has got a problem. I think you can only assume that he has, because it is Dzyuba who is being withdrawn, the man who scored the penalty to equalise, who's now got 3 goals at this World Cup. Dzyuba in his 4 appearances, and he will be replaced by Fyodor Smolov, the Krasnodar striker, who was quite strongly linked to West Ham in January, but is still playing here in Russia for Krasnodar. So that's it. 3 changes made.
He scored 2 against Spain in November, didn't he?
That's right. That's a very good point.
So maybe he's thought he'd had a bit of joy against them 2 centre-halves. He's more mobile. He's not obviously a target man. In fact, he scored 2 against Spain in November and a 3-3 draw. He's had not one shot in 111 minutes in this World Cup so far.
So Smolov is on, the number 10, to win his 36th cap. 12 goals in his previous 35. 1-1, and we are going to see Iniesta, I think, very shortly for Spain. Jordi Alba pulls the ball right across the edge of the penalty area, but no one gets a touch, either in white or a red shirt. Piqué loses out to the newly arrived Smolov on the halfway line. Now here's Golovin. Fernandez arrives on the right, and white shirts pouring forward now. Cheryshev makes himself available on the edge of the penalty area. Smolov has taken up a position at the back post. Now into the penalty area, and this could be dangerous. Sergio Ramos in with a challenge, but the ball runs behind, and referee Kuipers says Golovin was extremely optimistic if he thinks that was going to result in a penalty.
His left foot gives way in the turf and he slips over, and he didn't ask for one, so be fair to him, he got up. So here comes Iniesta.
So here we are, Iniesta, Andres Iniesta, left out of the starting lineup today. And it's David Silva, another one of the elder statesmen who's going to make way. David Silva's just won his 125th cap, and Andres Iniesta, comes on for Spain, and this is number 131 for him.
Well, David Silva, we know, runs games for Man City a lot of times, and what a great player he is, but he struggled today to get in the game.
And Andres Iniesta makes what is his 30th appearance at either a World Cup or a European Championship finals, and only Iker Casillas, the great goalkeeper, and Sergio Ramos have managed to play in as many games as that on these biggest stages of all in international football. Spain 1, Russia 1. And still Russia, really, in terms of, look at Akinfeev in the Russian goal, has had relatively little to do. They've just not been able to make the Russian goalkeeper have to work, despite all of this possession. What is it now? 71% possession Spain have got.
And they've had 8 shots and 3 on target.
Diego Costa's been something of an isolated figure. And here's Piqué, and we've seen any number of passes from side to side in the central third of the field from Spain. Isco, now square again to Sergio Ramos. It's square to Koke. Isco, little pass forward, but then square from Koke again, who mops his brow with the right sleeve of his red Spanish shirt. Jordi Alba on the left-hand side, back towards Sergio Ramos. Now Isco again, in this quite deep position for him. Koke then goes back into the centre circle. I can see that Fernando Hierro is talking to Dani Carvajal, who has the much taller Hierro towering over him with a huge brawny arm around his shoulders. Still Spain keeping possession. Koke, Russia with everybody behind the ball. They will happily take this. They get to extra time, that's a triumph for Russia. Jordi Alba again on the left-hand side. Back it comes. How many times have we seen Spain pass the ball from right to left to right to left? Now Piqué, here it goes to the right again. They might even get into the defensive third here, but no, Isco turns back, and back it goes towards Koke. Koke square towards Sergio Ramos, puts his foot on the ball, passes it forward. Iniesta gets a touch, then it's back to Jordi Alba, and now Iniesta again, and then Jordi Alba loses possession. Huge cheers because Russia have the ball again. Kuchipov hits an aerial ball, but it's no good. Zuba's not there anymore, although Jordi Alba had to be quick, but he was, and he was able to play it back towards De Gea. Chris Waddle.
It's called a windscreen wiper formation, isn't it? Just goes whoosh, whoosh, back. They've got to take risks sometimes, and they don't. It's not the Spanish way. They just want to keep possession, wait the time, and yes, I can see why people say at times it's boring, it's too slow, but they believe that if you've got the ball, you can't be hurt.
Nacho off, Dani Carvajal on, so that's a straight swap. as Danny Carvajal comes on to win his 18th cap. Okay. Spain back in possession. Iniesta up towards Diego Costa. Bounced off Costa, and that meant that Russia could get a touch on it. It's all the way back into the full-back position. Fernandez has cleared it, and then Isco's touch is heavy, and so Russia have possession back in their own 6-yard box. Chipped for Smolov through the middle, and Smolov with a stretch, and actually Fernandez has caught Jordi Alba. That must have been a little late, because the ball had gone when Jordi Alba went down on the far side.
Yeah, look.
Fernandez just with a knee in the back of his leg.
You've got to yell it. So
it's Zobnin.
Yep.
Zobnin it was, who put the challenge in. Jordi Alba hasn't needed the medical people on, so he's able to get up. Looking a little laboured as he does so, but he's all right. And Spain are back in possession again, so the normal service is resumed. Koke back to Sergio Ramos. I mean, this is how they rack up these passing statistics, which are way and beyond anyone else at this World Cup when you looked at the group stages of the competition. And now Spain, the Spanish side, unbeaten in 23 matches, lose possession, but that pass forward is nowhere near.
They're getting tired, John. Listen, they're sitting back, and people think, well, how can you get tired? But your concentration levels have got to be spot on. They're working side to side. They're constantly running.
We're just seeing Nacho actually sitting on the bench on one of our screens here, and he's got some icing on that left knee, which was caught early on in the match, so maybe he's had to go off and be replaced by Carvajal, which is the reason for that change by Fernando Hierro. So 5 Live from the BBC, and the ball swung out of play by Spain, so it's a throw into Russia halfway inside their own half. This is BBC 5 Live. Earlier on Sports Extra, if you missed the Grand Prix, it was won by Max Verstappen, with Raikkonen second, Vettel third, and Vettel is now back on top of the Drivers' Championship because Lewis Hamilton failed to finish. And the cricket, the Women's Tri-Series final, you can hear on BBC, on the website, BBC Sport Online, live from Chelmsford. BBC Radio bringing you commentary on every match at this World Cup, either on 5 Live, Sports Extra, or on the website. And here, it's not been a thriller, Chris, has it, by any means?
No, it's definitely not. Obviously, Russia came, parked the bus, and thought, yeah, we'll catch on a set piece or a break, and it worked for them. And they've done it all the second half. They've set deep, they're not letting Spain get in behind. They're cutting all the lanes off into the forwards or into the midfield players who try and get behind the midfield. They're cutting the lanes off. It's very difficult to break them down.
Ball played forward towards Diego Costa, but Ignashevich comes across, and he was just nervous of the fact that Costa was nearby. He was looking to pile it out of play, but he sliced it behind, and it's a corner to Spain. You just reminded me, I meant to look up what the Russian was for park the bus.
He's not listening.
I'll tell him again in a minute. It's producer Gary. It's a corner from the left-hand side that is going to be taken by Asensio. Asensio, left-footed out, swing out of the near post, which got a touch off the head. It's been won back by Diego Costa, but then it's hammered away downfield by Kudryashov. Yes, I think Masha, who's been brilliant looking after us here in Russia, I don't think she's too far away. She will know exactly how to say park the bus in Russian. Gary's not looking very confident with that. Here's Koke in the centre circle. Russia. The crowd can sense that this Russian team need their support. Isco. A little flick from him infield where it was taken on by Jordi Alba. Now Asensio back to Isco, his clubmate. Isco with Russia, everyone behind the ball in the defensive third. There's a run by Carvajal down the right hand side, but it's still near the halfway line with Koke. Now Piqué. Sergio Ramos plays it towards the left hand side. Jordi Alba is there. Isco now begins to move in from the left touch line. Isco moving across the field from left to right, but Koke, it's almost like a nervous reaction. As soon as Koke gets the ball, back it goes into the centre circle. Back to Koke. No, he goes out wide this time to the right-hand side. And then Carvajal. Back to Koke, who is going to go into the centre circle. I knew it. I knew it couldn't last for long. Sergio Ramos to Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. And now Iniesta. Gerard Piqué picks out Isco, who's come all the way across from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Koke goes square to Busquets. Busquets now, as the Russian defence is pulled from one side to the other. Iniesta, though, if there's anyone who can play the killer pass, it's him. Diego Costa tried to give it back to Iniesta, but it came to nothing.
It's like a training ground game now, isn't it? How would you break the team down? How would you try and score?
But Russia, without question, this is a case of Pripakovat Avtobus. Ball played over the top for Jordi Alba, but it's hooked away by Fernandes, who will see the ball bounce and volley it straight out of play on the halfway line. 15 minutes to play.
It used to be a ventriloquist.
Just this Russian language just comes very naturally to me. We've learned, haven't we, that the word for bread is chlyeb, which we are using probably more than any other Russian word. But
it rhymes a bit with Jürgen Klopp.
So here's Iniesta. We're into the last 15 minutes now. We are 15 minutes away from extra time in a match of few chances. An own goal and a penalty, and it's 1-1. Here's Sergio Ramos now.
Good chess players in there, Russia, aren't they?
They are, yes. Got a bit of history there. Diego Costa loses possession. Smolov hits him on the heels. Now it's played by Golovin to the right-hand side, but Zobnin can't keep it in, and it's a throw-in.
Well, imagine there.
It's Spain 1, Russia 1. We've got just under 15 minutes to play, and we're hearing some tennis news that's just coming into us. Our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller, can join us with it.
John, Andy Murray has just posted on Facebook that with heavy heart he's announcing he's withdrawing from Wimbledon. I've made significant progress in practice and matches over the last 10 days, he said, but after lengthy discussions with my team, we've decided that playing best of 5-set matches might be a bit too soon in the recovery process. More after the football.
Thanks, Russell. So no Andy Murray at Wimbledon this year. That is the news that has been brought to us by Russell there. So Wimbledon 2018 minus Andy Murray begins tomorrow, and we'll have more once we've reached the end of regulation time in this match, because it is increasingly looking as though we're going to have extra time for you in the Luzhniki. Still time though for a winner. Russia would be the strong favourites to get it if they actually created a chance. Spain won, Russia won.
You've got to get over the halfway line to create a chance, haven't you?
Iniesta, World Cup winner, European Championship winner. They're dotted all around this Spanish team and this Spanish squad. At this World Cup, which has lost Germany, which has lost Argentina, which has lost Portugal, but there are still plenty of big hitters left in the competition, but not necessarily so in Spain's half of the draw, which includes England. And we will be on the other side of Moscow, or at least on the north side of Moscow, at the Spartak Stadium on Tuesday night. 5 Live will be the place to hear England's game against Colombia. 7 o'clock kickoff UK time. Spain are going absolutely nowhere here, other than from right to left.
Sub coming on.
Iago Aspas. He's a player who might be able to make it happen, as he did, of course, against Morocco. Here's Iniesta now. Isco's challenged on the edge of the area. There's no space once Spain get to the edge of the Russian penalty area, and the Russians have got the ball back inside their own half. Up it goes towards Smolov, who heads it to the right, and now the ball is played forward by Fernandes, but just bounces out of play for a throw into Spain inside their own territory. Just over 10 minutes to play. So that news, you've just joined us. We've just heard that Andy Murray has had to withdraw from this year's Wimbledon, so will not be involved. So that's the news from back home. Here in Moscow, Diego Costa makes way. He's had a frustrated afternoon, Diego Costa, and he's replaced by Iago Aspas.
Well, you feel for him, John, in a way that he doesn't get any service. He makes little runs, little But they've packed the defence today. It's Russia. They've had people in front. The three centre halves. You can't get near the centre forward.
Yeah, but
he's been willing.
Spain haven't done enough though.
No, because when they get it away, they don't like other teams. They don't cross it. They don't take a risk. It's like no risk football.
Spain won, Russia won. And I barely made a note in the first half. We had the deflected effort that hit Jordi Alba. It was probably going wide actually. Saved by Akinfeev.
But they don't shoot neither. They get within 25, 20 yards, they don't shoot.
There's a cross from the right from Carvajal is far too close to Akinfeev, who caught that very, very easily. It was nowhere near Iago Aspas. But at least that was finally something into the opposition penalty area. 10 minutes, we're into the last 10 minutes of the match. What would make it very interesting is if Russia were able to get the ball off Spain and get down the other end and win a set piece. But
I think the Russian coach is hoping that as well.
I think the whole of Russia is hoping that.
74% now possession.
I'm not bracing myself for a classic extra time either. Here's Piqué. This match is on BBC television. It's on BBC One. If you're on your way home, you can watch the pictures. You can listen to Steve Wilson and Kevin Kilban, who are just in front of us here. Or you can listen to our commentary via the red button matched up with the television pictures. As the ball's played forward towards Aspas, and a sliding
cramp
challenge by Kuchepov deflected behind for a corner, and Kuchepov remains on the ground.
He's got cramp. So they've worked ever so hard. I know it's not pretty, this game. It's not been the best game. But Russia have obviously got a game plan and they've stuck to it.
I don't blame Russia.
No, I don't.
The lowest ranked team at this World Cup, the host nation, they have to cut their cloth accordingly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And it's not pretty, but they are what they are. Corner. Kuchepov is okay, he's got on his feet. Here's the corner for Spain. Oh, chance for Busquets. Well, he mishit it. And there was a double deflection, and the ball's been volleyed out of play for a throw-in here on the right-hand side. That fell very invitingly for Sergio Busquets. And the referee just blown his whistle. We're not going to have a VAR. Yeah, we are. We're having a VAR check here. Check for a possible penalty for a handball by the Russian defender.
Play on.
And they are satisfied that there was no handball. I think the question was against Ignashevich, who's already scored an own goal in this match. If he'd had a penalty given against him there, that would have been a nightmare afternoon for the 38-year-old, but they dealt with it very quickly. And actually, I don't think referee Kuipers, I think he had a decent view of that. Here now with the ball on the right-hand side, which is swung across by Koke, and Isco was after it, little Isco, but Kuchepov got his head to it first. It's out for a throw on the far side.
See, I don't know why Spain don't do that a lot more, John, because they've got quality. They can deliver. You can see the way they pass the ball. They can put a cross in, get a couple of shirts in. Or it's a bit of a risk, but you may just land on one of your players' heads and it's a goal.
We've just seen a replay there of the VAR check. Ignashevich was stretching forward, ball caught him on the upper left chest, and quite correct, it wasn't a handball. We've barely seen a VAR check in this match. Here's Fernandez, who does well for Russia against Iniesta inside the penalty area, turns and is able to pass the ball away. But of course you're not going to have VAR checks if the ball is hardly ever in the penalty area. Ball's out of play for a throw-in to Russia, and we've got 7 minutes to play. What was that? 711 passes?
711 to their
794
completed, or 719 against 162 completed.
Spain with 719 passes completed to Russia's 162. Iniesta now with a run towards the edge of the penalty area. Aspas is after it, but it breaks down on the edge of the box, and Iniesta actually has stayed down. It's been whacked out of play by Golovin for a throw on the far side. Iniesta is back up onto his feet, so the ball's back in play with a throw in with 6 minutes to play. We're 6 minutes away from extra time here. I can hardly believe it. Now Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. Jordi Alba with the cross. It's deflected out to Iniesta, who shoots. It's saved by Akinfeev. Then Aspas shoots across the face of goal, and Akinfeev got a touch on that as well. He was shooting Aspas from a very tight angle, and I don't think it was on target actually from Aspas, but it was by Iniesta.
Great position, and you just think if you catch it right, you'll score. Unfortunately, another one dropping the cramp for Russia.
It's the same one actually, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. It's Kudryashov who is going to need some treatment. But there, suddenly, a chance in the D for Iniesta, and a smart save by the Russian goalkeeper.
All the players running across, look, the Spanish players, not for information, a drink. It's a good save actually, you see the replay.
Spain 1, Russia 1. That save from Akinfeev has kept Russia in the World Cup.
Tchechov is telling his team to get up the field. They can't get up the field. He saw two players drop with cramp. They're just playing on memory at the minute, and they're doing well at it. Don't get us wrong, they're defending very well.
Kudryashov, this strapping, shaven-headed defender, has had his treatment for cramp, so we'll have time added on. We're into the last 5 minutes now on this sultry afternoon in the Russian capital, very close to the Moscow River. It's really just a few hundred yards away from where we sit here in amongst the trees. The Moscow University is high on the hill on the other side of the river from the stadium, and inside the ground the Russian supporters are trying to see their team through to extra time. Russia have come into this game with limited ambition. If they can get into extra time, then they'll feel they might be able to take this to a penalty shootout. And Russia have got to be careful. It's been given away by Sergio Ramos. Smolov now carrying the ball through the middle, plays it to Golovin. Oh, it's been lost by Sergio Ramos and Jordi Alba, but that was because there was a foul by Golovin, and it's a free kick to Spain inside their own box. Nervy moment for the Spanish.
Give the ball away, Ramos stretching. I thought he was offside when he plays it, and he is offside, but we're getting the benefit of a replay. He's well offside. I can't believe the linesman hasn't stuck his flag up, and I know he's not allowed to.
That would have been an interesting...
May hurt his arm, that.
If Russia had broken through there and put it in the net, that would have been a very interesting VAR call.
You don't realise Putin's sitting there today, that's why he's not in the stand.
I don't think we can say that.
Oh, just tough.
Spain 1, Russia 1. Aspas square to Iniesta. We've got 3 minutes plus added time. I think we're going to have extra time, Chris.
Yeah.
Get on the phone to that Georgian restaurant. Here's Ramos. Back to Iniesta. Will there be one more chance? Will there be a chance? Piqué. Now to the right-hand side. Asensio is there. Isco rolls his foot over the ball. Asensio to Carvajal. Asensio blocks it up into the air. Then there's a wrestling match between Isco and Cheryshev, and it's a free kick to Spain on the right-hand side. I mean, so much for the hope of Cheryshev coming onto the field. We simply haven't seen him in an attacking sense. But it's a free kick, set piece, and this is an opportunity for Spain to snatch it. Anxious now, nervy. 2 minutes to go. Spain surely have to play the ball into the penalty area.
They will.
Asensio is talking to Isco. He's got his hand over his mouth in that way. It's a touch by Asensio. Isco takes it on. Isco now plays it in, but it hits immediately into Kuzyaev, and it's a corner to Spain here on the right-hand side. Down to our right, a couple of cameramen, or a cameraman and a sound man in their grey and blue outfit, just hovering around next to where this corner is going to be taken. It's Koke who's come across to take it. We're very nearly into the 90th minute. The score is 1-1 on 5 Live. We're seeing the usual pushing and shoving as Koke takes the corner towards the penalty spot. There's a double deflection. I think the final one was off Piqué.
Corner.
Onto the defender. It's another corner from the left. 5th one for Spain. All of them have been in the second half. It's going to be an in-swinger from Isco, right on the far side of the Luzhniki from where we are. raises his left arm, and then a delay. Now he takes it. It's flicked on by Iniesta, and then it's hacked away, right-footed by Kutyapov, who just gave it the heave-ho and sent it out of play for another corner to Spain. And there's a ball on the pitch, so Carvajal has to come across and scoop it off the field. Isco's going to take another one. We are now in the 90th minute. Spain score now, it's all over. In it comes from Isco, player's gone down. Sergio Ramos heads it over the top of the bar, and the Russian defender, who's lying on his back, has barely moved. It's Kutyapov, who's suffering from cramp again. So we've got Ignashevich, who's 38, playing alongside Kutyapov, who's 24, and Kudryashov, who is 31. And Ignashevich seems to be in the best shape of the lot. 4 minutes of added time, then we're into them. Extra time.
Yeah, looks like extra time this. I mean, Spain's got all the ball. Just playing on memory at the minute. The ball dropped, 3 or 4 of them are dropping with cramp all over the park. But Spain just can't create anything.
Russia, for once, actually have committed players downfield here. Golovin plays it to the right-hand side. Once the whistle goes, we'll have more on that news from Russell Fuller, that Andy Murray is out of this year's Wimbledon. We'll have more on that at the end of the regulation time in this last 16 match at the World Cup, which does seem to be heading for extra time. De Gea with the ball inside his 6-yard box. Talk about a goalkeeper being a spectator in a half of football. How many times has De Gea touched the ball in this second half?
I can't remember. I think 4 or 5 times, if that.
Throw in for Russia. Can you imagine if Russia score? Kudryashov with a throw in down into the Spanish right back area. They're not going to score like that, as Smolov can only deflect it through for a goal kick. We're in the second minute of the 4 of added time at the end of this first half. This is going to be the first match at World Cup 2018 to go into extra time, and Russia are still in it. There are 14 teams still standing at this World Cup, and the hosts are one of them. Ball played out to Jordi Alba, and they've simply not created enough. That's the story for Spain. And Russia are coming forward, and Cheryshev is making a run now into the full-back position. Cheryshev pulls it back, but he pulls it back. There was no one there in a white shirt for Russia. Koke was able to move across and take possession without being challenged, and Spain will pass it away from inside their own half, but that is intercepted by Kudryashov, and Kudryashov now holds it up on the edge of the penalty area, gives it to Smolov. Smolov shoots, curls it wide of the far post. Didn't threaten De Gea's goal.
Sloppy play by Busquets, wasn't it? It was a passing between two players they didn't know, no talking, no communication. And Russia, they seem to get a lot of energy when they get the ball off Spain. When they haven't got it, they look so tired.
We're in the 3rd minute of added time. I think that is Russia's first attempt at goal in the second half. And it is Spain 1, Russia 1. So settle down for extra time, everyone. It's on BBC television if you're on your way home on this Sunday afternoon stroke evening. And Russia with Ignashevich, the ageing veteran Ignashevich, getting up high and heading it away. Now Piqué gets his chest to it, and Carvajal is going to play it all the way back into central defence. And I think that probably the players now, with 3 minutes, we are into the 4th minute of added time, are accepting of the fact that we are going to have additional time. Another 30 minutes to play as Isco plays it back towards the halfway line. Piqué and then Isco. Are Spain going to have a final goal? Ramos, Iniesta exchange short passes. Ramos then plays it back to Piqué. We're into the last 30 seconds now. Isco, just a rolling ball out to the right-hand side to Koke. Koke back in field towards Isco. Isco now rolls his foot beautifully over the ball and then passes it wide to Koke, and Koke's cross curling along the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Fernandez. We've got just seconds left of these 4 minutes. Busquets will not take it any further. The final whistle goes, and it will be extra time. Russia, the host nation, have taken the 2010 world champions all the way to extra time. 1-1.
Well, it's definitely not a classic, put it that way. It's not a great game to watch, and it's all Spain on the ball, but they're playing so slow. It's very easy for Russia to get the shape behind the ball, play on the counter-attack. They've had the odd moment on the break, and we really mean an odd moment. Spain, for me, have got to be more positive. We're crossing the ball a bit earlier, shooting a bit earlier, and they may get the rewards. But at the minute, you can see this going all the way to a shootout.
You can, most certainly. It is Spain 1, Russia 1 here in the Luzhniki Stadium.
Oh, good, another half hour of that.
Enjoy it.
In some ways, I think that may be even worse than the France-Denmark game, because at least France-Denmark had a reason for them both playing for a point, didn't they, Chris?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but this has been Spain in a tournament. Yeah, we love the possession, 74% again today. But they get in areas where most teams cross or shoot. They never do. So Russia have looked at it. They've got everybody behind the ball. You've got to take a little bit of risk in football. Unfortunately, Spain don't take risks, and that's why the game's just basically what you don't know. You can just see what's going to happen next. It's going to go Wade back in the middle, back to the centre halves, Piqué, Ramos, Wade, back to Ramos, Piqué, Wade. You can actually see what's happening from, and they just don't take any risk, Mark.
I mean, John Murray said in commentary, Guillaume Balaguer, that virtually every ball Koke was playing was going back into the centre circle for one of the centre halves.
Yes, there was no risk. If in the first half you could say that after 1-0 Spain kept the ball just to try to take the sting out of it. In the second half there's a lot of fear. Nobody's putting a ball across some of the midfielders. Nobody's trying anything risky. And we've thrown away really 1 hour. I think things have been a little bit different since Iniesta came on. He started putting himself on the edge of the box, waiting for the pass to arrive. Sometimes it did, and when it did, he turned and looked for the forwards. So something else was happening. But why was Iniesta not playing? He could damage Hierro. I don't think he's going to continue anyway. But I can see the downfall of this will be, come on, man. Iniesta forever.
Steve, the match has penalties written all over it, and with this crowd behind them I wouldn't put it past Russia to win. Grant, I'm not impressed with Spain personally. Their impressive possession football is nothing but sideways passing in front of a staunch Russian defence. I fancy Russia to steal this. What about this point, Chris, from Wayne? To be fair, I'm not sure what else Spain can do against a 10-man defence.
Take risks. It's as simple as that. Listen, you see it everywhere in this tournament. In the group stage, a lot of teams played like Russia have played today. But it's up to you to put a ball in with a bit of quality. You may get a ricochet, you may get an arm ball, you may get an own goal. But if you don't put the ball in, you don't pull it. It's the old saying: if you don't buy a raffle ticket, you can't win the raffle. And Spain just don't want to buy a ticket. They just get to the last third and it's check out because it's a risk which they might lose possession. Now, unfortunately, in the final third, you can get to the final third very easy in football, and that's the hardest part after that. That's where imagination and risk comes into the game. They are afraid to take any risk, and unfortunately, it's just a possession game for them.
Extra time on its way very shortly. Let's just bring you news of Andy Murray being out of Wimbledon. He announced his withdrawal in the last few minutes. Our correspondent Russell Fuller with us. What's he said, Russell?
He said on Facebook, Mark, that he's withdrawing from the championships with a heavy heart. He says he's made significant progress over the last 10 days in practice and matches, but that we, the team, has decided that playing best of 5 sets at this stage is just too soon in the recovery process. But he's going to continue practicing now for the American hard court season rather than for the grass court season from tomorrow, and he's due to play the event in Washington, which starts in 4 weeks' time. He had barely played for 5 months after that hip surgery when he returned to the court about 2.5 weeks before the event at Queen's. It was an extraordinarily short amount of time to prepare for a return to the ATP Tour, and he's struck the ball quite well. He beat Stan Wawrinka at Eastbourne, but he's clearly decided that it just doesn't make sense for him to try and risk his body over 5 sets at this stage.
And I wonder whether he sort of alluded to that in the interview we heard earlier when he talks about the priority being his long-term recovery actually more than Wimbledon, so maybe that gave us a sense of what was coming.
Yeah, possibly. And I think if you look at the long-term situation, it makes more sense for Murray not to play here. But in his desperation to get back, it just seems that he doesn't learn from the mistakes he admits he's made in the past. He tried to play at the US Open last August, but pulled out on the Saturday after the draw had been made. He then travelled to Australia, tried to play in Brisbane. He was on site. He pulled out after the tournament had started, and he said he wanted it to be different this time, but frustratingly for all those who wish him well, he's in the same position, pulling out on the eve of the Wimbledon Championships.
Russell, thank you very much. Back to John Murray and Chris Waddle. Extra time underway.
Yep, no further changes, and this is the first World Cup when teams can make a fourth substitution in extra time of matches, but neither Stanislav Cherchesov nor Fernando Hierro have done that yet. So Spain getting the first half of extra time underway. The score is 1-1. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. You can also listen to us and watch the pictures via the red button. Spain with De Gea in goal. Now their back four is Carvajal, Piqué, Ramos and Jordi Alba. In midfield, Koke and Busquets, Isco, Iniesta, Asensio and Iago Aspas. Costa, David Silva and Nacho were substituted. And the Russian side, Spain in possession, it's exactly the same pattern as the second half, and in actual fact Spain are playing in the same direction as they were in the second half, although it's slipped through nicely to Iago Aspas, left side of the area. He's pulled it back towards Carvajal, who was in there, but Carvajal on the stretch couldn't get a touch. There was at least one defender as well putting in the challenge, and it's out of play for a throw.
Great ball by Isco, wasn't it? Great vision, great run by Aspas, and he pulls it back. He just can't get it on the target, but Isco again. Everything Spain do, which is positive for me in the final third, normally comes through Isco.
I think as well, Iago Aspas for me just brings a little bit more vitality, just looks a little bit more sharper.
Yes.
Yeah, a bit more
mobility. Yeah.
30 years old now, Iago Aspas. 23 goals for Celta Vigo this season. The excellent record in recent seasons, goal scoring with Celta Vigo, and he's now the main striker with Diego Costa having gone off. And the Russian team, Akinfeev in goal, made a very good late save in the second half from Iniesta. Three central defenders, Kutyapov, Ignashevich and Granat, with Kudryashov and Fernandez, the wing-backs, and then Zobnin, Kuzyaev, Cheryshev, Golovin and Smolov came on to replace Dzyuba up front. Here's Jordi Alba, shoots from 25 yards but straight into the defender on the edge of the area. Then it's taken on by Isco. Jordi Alba's still on the ground and actually suggesting that he's injured. He's got cramp. Spain nevertheless are back in possession. Jordi Alba's climbing to his feet just outside the box. Spain with Fernando Hierro, the tall Fernando Hierro, the great Real Madrid man, finished his career at Bolton, standing watching with his hand on his elbow. And here is Iniesta now near the edge of the penalty area. Isco tries to curl across a pass towards Carvajal here, but it's deflected to Asensio, and then Asensio's ball goes one way, Aspas went the other, and Ignashevich was able to step in for Russia. Russia in the all-white kit with the blue trim, blue numbers on the back. Spain, their first choice colours, red shirts with the yellow trim, the sunshine colours of Spain, the blue shorts and black socks. And it has been a rearguard action by Russia during the course of the game. And you're looking at pictures of Jordi Alba, who...
He was lying on the ground getting cramp, and as he turned around, the ball hit him in the head.
Here's Carvajal on the right-hand side. Back it goes to Koke. And Koke, I think he's magnetically drawn to passing the ball to Sergio Ramos in the centre circle. Isco on the left-hand side. Isco is running at Fernandez. Tries to play it past him, takes a deflection. Iniesta was caught on the edge of the penalty area. Referee says no, he wasn't. That was a fair challenge for him. But then Russia just gave possession back to Spain near the halfway line. By the way, we've got a better Russian phrase for parking the bus than the one we mentioned in the first half. I don't know whether that's a listener or whether we've got it from some other source. It's Iniesta flicks it out towards the left-hand side. Isco slides along the surface of the pitch and stops it from going out, and now Isco is running at Fernandez. Isco drives the ball across, but straight at Ignashevich on the edge of the 6-yard box, who's able to volley it downfield. It's come off ahead of Sergio Ramos. The crowd are interested, but Smolov wasn't in the same oblast as the ball, and there was no chance of him getting there. Here's Busquets. Russia are now preparing to make that fourth change. Here's one for Aspas to chase down into the full-back position. Aspas plays it back to the corner of the box. Important challenge from Zobnin, but it's back at the feet of Aspas, who tries to drag it back, but he dragged it back straight into the path of Kuzyaev, and the clearance to the halfway line is simply giving possession back to Spain. Yep, Russia, this performance today has very much been a case of Igrat at Abaroni, which means a team's tactics based on defence. Here on the left-hand side comes Spain once again. Isco is looking for Jordi Alba to go round the corner, but he keeps possession. Excellent balance as he's been challenged there, Isco. And then eventually Spain work it all the way back to the centre circle. Piqué puts his foot on the ball again. First period of extra time, it's 1-1. Now Isco in a central position, but there's no space, no room there. However, it's been won back. Aspas with a little ball to Isco. Isco again runs his foot over it. Busquets just about works the pass to Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. Jordi Alba's cross, though, is blocked. And Asensio. Back to Jordi Alba. Russia with every man behind the ball, and in fact Koke then shoots from 35 yards, but it sails away over the post.
There's a sub, John.
And we will now see Russia's final change, their fourth change of the match, and it's going to be the number 21 from Zenit St. Petersburg, the midfielder Alexander Yerokin, who is going to replace Dalia Kuzyaev. And that will be a straight swap. The number 7, who is his clubmate at Zenit, and if he walks any more slowly, he will actually come to a dead stop. And in fact, he has now reached the touchline. Well done, Dalia. So number 21, Alexander Yerokin, is on to win his 18th cap. 5 Live. Spain 1, Russia 1. Ball in front of the Spanish penalty area with Gerard Piqué. Jordi Alba. It's actually clouded over here as well in Moscow. Thunderstorms were forecast, and the clouds do appear to be thickening above our heads as we look up through the huge circular opening afforded by the roof of this wonderful Luzhniki stadium. Isco gets the ball back from Jordi Alba. Iniesta now again back to Isco. Touch from Iniesta. Isco takes it on into the penalty area, but shows too much of it to Fernandes, who's going to shield it and allow it to roll behind, and that's well defended by Mario Fernandes. A huge round of applause.
Well, I've got to say, Isco's been the only player, mate, what I saw in a red shirt of Spain today, who actually wants to commit defenders and try and make something happen. He's every time he's got it, he's trying to play forward, he's trying to get 1-2s going, or he's trying to take full-backs on or centre-halves on. He's trying to create something.
It's entirely possible, Chris, if it carries on like this, that this will go to penalties, and then of course that can go either way. Spain get knocked out on this side of the draw. That would leave us in this side of the draw with Russia, Croatia, Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, Colombia and England. There's an opportunity there for someone if they're able to take it, isn't there? Ball just being watched out of play by Carvajal for a goal kick.
There is, and listen, they've had a game plan, Russia. They've thought if we go toe-to-toe with Spain, we're going to get beat, and they've thought we'll defend and we'll frustrate, and we'll see if we can get rewards. Not pretty to watch.
It certainly isn't.
But they're just playing to the strengths.
What did I say to you last week? Very often some of the most cautious matches I've watched with you over the years have been last 16 games at the World Cup. We were talking, it was Japan-Paraguay, wasn't it? Which was one of the least eventful matches I've ever watched. Oh, 2 Spanish players have run into one another on the edge of the penalty area. Isco and Aspas were making runs, ran into each other, and they both fell over. Now Iniesta is challenged. He's upended, but it's a fair challenge for the ball. Aspas now through the middle. Aspas to Asensio. Asensio shoots, but it's straight at Akinfeyev. who's able to take that very comfortably, moving quickly to his left. He just patted it down.
Yeah, it's a decent strike, not a lot of backlift on it, so he couldn't generate a lot of pace, but comfortable save. But at least they've had a shot.
That was from, 22, 23 yards. Easy save. Almost 10 minutes played. First period of extra time, BBC 5 Live. And it's still 1-1. If you've been out and about on a sunny, warm summer's afternoon back home, Spain took the lead in the 12th minute. It was an own goal by Sergei Ignashevich. Sergio Ramos putting him under pressure. Ignashevich deflecting it off his leg into his own net. We thought, well, the floodgates will open now. You know, Russian defences have been breached. But not so. They got a penalty shortly before half-time. Piqué handballed a header from Djuba. Djuba himself scored it. And that was the last of the scoring action. Still 1-1. Isco lifts the ball out towards the left-hand side to Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, and that's a sliding challenge by Kuchepov coming in on Aspas. Then it's swung over the top by Sergio Ramos, but beyond everyone and through for a goal kick. And the supporters here around this stadium are thinking we might be capable, all of these Russian supporters thinking we might be able to nick this in a penalty shootout. Akinfeev just spinning the ball down into the 6-yard box. Spain have one more change. What could they do? Rodrigo?
I'd put in that striker on play 2 up front, because they're not dominating possession. You know, you've got two sort of Wade-ish play, not really Wade, but you've got enough possession, put 2 in the box. There we go.
Iniesta plays the ball over the top for Aspas to chase. There are 4 Russian defenders getting back. Aspas takes on Ignashevich and then shoots into him. Well done, Ignashevich. The 38-year-old did very well there. Very nearly isolated, and he's been able to block it out for a throw on the far side for Spain. Aspas takes it. One ball from Iniesta there, very nearly unlocked this Russian defence, and we are going to see a change now. Is that Thiago down there? No, it isn't. It's Rodrigo. So it is Rodrigo who's going to come on, the Valencia striker.
Take Koke off. He's just, as you say, just passes back the 2 centre-halves every time he gets it.
Yeah. I don't think Koke's departure would make it a less exciting game of football. Here's Jordi Alba on the left. Ball is stationary. Sergio Ramos. Square pass towards Piqué. Piqué now to Asensio. And Asensio is going to curl a high pass back out towards Jordi Alba. And now Isco receives it from Jordi Alba. And Isco, just holding off the challenge from Mario Fernandes, is able to play it square towards Piqué, who's going to strike that ball yet again. This pass to Carvajal, and then it's chested off by Iniesta into the penalty area. Iago Aspas beaten to it by Kudryashov, and then there's a man down in the full-back position, and it's another free kick, and we will now see the final Spanish change. So this the last substitution of the match, Asensio. And in actual fact it's going to be Asensio who makes way. I mean, in a match like this, Spain have barely needed to have what are effectively 2 holding players, but they're going to keep them on right until the end. And Rodrigo is onto the field. The Valencia man who's just had his best season in terms of goals, 19 for him for Valencia this season, the number 9 in this Spanish squad. Spain 1, Russia 1, with the first half of extra time having just a minute or so to run. Ignashevich takes the ball down and wallops it downfield, 15 yards inside Spanish territory, and then Gerard Piqué is illegally challenged by Smolov, and it's a free kick that they take quickly. Piqué to Ramos, who's opening his legs now and giving it to Iniesta in that ever so Iniesta way, swinging his arms as he passes it casually forward towards Isco. And now Iniesta is off and running again. This balding little figure, this great footballer of modern times, Iniesta, who is challenged, and then a free kick for the follow-up challenge on Isco, who's left in a heap on the ground.
I've got to say, John, I don't think there's a lot of contact. Yeah, there's not a lot of contact there. I think he's made a meal of it. Look, he's played the ball, he hasn't touched him at all, and goes down screaming.
Golovin actually, we can see now, took the ball cleanly, but on the follow-through there's minimal contact, but it's a free kick for the challenge on Isco. If Russia concede from this free kick, they will certainly contest the awarding of the free kick. So added time at the end of the first period of extra time. It's 1-1. Free kick is played in now. Glancing header from Piqué straight at Akin Fayat, who's able to catch it quite comfortably.
Yeah, no power on the header. The ball comes in. He's sort of got to take his head to the left and try and generate some power on it, and he couldn't, and it's an easy save.
And I think that will be about it for this first period of extra time. Russia have created absolutely nothing, and now Smolov down the right-hand side wins a throw-in. Time is almost up. There'll barely be time for any play after this throw-in is taken. 78,011 is the crowd announcement, so not quite the 80,000 inside the Luzhniki, which is quite surprising. And that is it. That's the whistle for half-time and extra time, and it's still 1-1 for Swatter.
Yeah, this much of the same. Spain having the ball, Russia defending, and went to the second part in a couple of minutes.
So from the Luzhniki, it's back to the studio at Red Square.
Russia have settled for penalties, haven't they, Chris?
I think we noticed that after about the first 2 minutes. So, listen, as I said earlier, Mark, if they go toe-to-toe, they get hammered. So they've got a game plan, fair play to them. They're working their socks off. Spain just have got to take a bit more risk.
But does that final substitution, do you think, both of you, does that final substitution highlight a lack of willingness to take a risk?
Yeah, but he brings a forward on and takes a player who could score, could open a defence up, could do something, takes one off. So I don't see that. He could have took Koke up. He's frightened. I think they catch him on the break, and he's playing safe.
With the players Spain have got on the field, penalty shootout can go either way. The players Spain have got on the field, surely they've got a better chance to win it in open play than they have in a penalty shootout.
But they've not looked sharp all tournament, and people said they played too much football in Spain, that they played every game, so many games more than everybody else, and they've been one-paced all tournament.
But it's just the lack of wanting to take a risk. It seems utterly bizarre in a knockout game.
Well, listen, Mark, when you get the ball weighed in that, listen, they've got two strikers on now. Put it in the box, they're tired. The Russian defenders are all dropping a cramp. They can't move as quick as they were. Take a risk. It might just come off outside his foot and go in the goal. It might be an own goal. It could be anything. But they'll not take the risk.
15 minutes away from a penalty shootout. The hosts are still in this World Cup, John.
They're still in it, Russia, against all expectations. Massive underdogs in this game against Spain, and their obdurate tactics and Spain's shortcomings mean that we're into the second period of extra time, and it is still 1-1. 15 minutes away from a penalty shootout. Thought Koke might have been fouled by Cheryshev there. He's not really had a chance to add to his 3 goals. He's not really had a chance. He's not had a chance, Cheryshev, since he came on as a substitute, because Russia have been so defensive. And Russia have just allowed Spain to have the ball in the central third of the field, and they've rarely committed themselves into the Russian defensive third. And now the crowd here, almost 80,000 of them, obviously the majority Russian fans with their white, red and blue flags, here just a few hundred yards away from the Moscow River itself, are trying to make a noise and see this team through to a penalty shootout. And then, of course, anything could happen. Ramos swings the ball out towards Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. Then a flick infield from Busquets back towards Isco, the extremely mobile little figure of Isco with his jet black beard, playing the ball to the right-hand side, where Carvajal gives it back towards Koke. And Koke now, Big crossfield pass to Jordi Alba, who kills that ball stone dead with his left foot, gives it to Iniesta, left-footed shot, which is deflected on the edge of the penalty area, took the pace off it, and it just looped through into the box for Akinfeev to take, and then launch one downfield for Smolov to chase, but Ramos was there as well, and Ramos got the touch with his boot.
When you scout Iniesta's shot, he could have hit it with his right. I thought, you've got it on your right, hit it, he turned onto his left, no power, slight deflection anyway.
2 minutes played in the second period of extra time. Here's Isco now, moving towards the corner of the box, but took his eye off the ball, and that meant Cheryshev could get a touch on it. However, it's ended up in possession of Isco, who's juggling the ball with his right foot over in the Russian left-back position. Isco plays it back behind him, and then it finds its way back to Piqué, just forward of the centre circle, square from him to Ramos. Poor first touch, but decent second touch. Out to the right-hand side to Carvajal. Carvajal in the white boots. Here's the cross from him, looking for Rodrigo, but it's over the top of Rodrigo and caught by Akinfeev.
Well, you want people to put the ball in the box, don't you? But not like that. So
huge cheer for Akinfeev. That was an absolutely crucial save that he made from Iniesta. Down to his right, smart save. And now Russia have possession inside Spanish territory, and it's being taken on up the right hand side by Zobnin, but he runs into Sergio Ramos, and that's the end of that. So Piqué receives the ball from Ramos, thought about the long pass, which he does. It's a low pass, and Rodrigo does extremely well to turn his man, and Rodrigo now into the penalty area, takes on and beats Ignashevich, shoots it, saved, it falls for the shot from Carvajal, who slipped as he shot goalwards, and it was blocked by a defender on the 6-yard line.
Wow, what a break. Rodrigo there was so well, didn't he? Went to control, let it go through his legs, spun the defender who's really struggling for pace, little step over, got a difficult angle after he did the step over, he went towards the lane. If he could have come inside, better angle, he didn't. Hits it with his right. Good save.
Some excitement, some genuine excitement, as the ball's played over the top for Rodrigo to hit a shot from the edge of the area. It's Iniesta's pass, but he was really straining and stretching for it, Rodrigo, and he sent the volley high over the bar. Now they're going for it.
Yeah, no, but he's give a little bit of energy. He's come on, he's got pace, he's willing to take people on. Keep getting the ball to him.
Rodrigo, the 27-year-old. Goal kick. Akinfeev to take it. Spain 1, Russia 1. If you're on your way home, you might get back in time for the penalty shootout, unless one of these teams can snatch it. As the referee's given a free kick Russia's way, and the ball is punted back by Busquets towards the point of contact, where Ignashevich will actually wander forward. It was Granat who was fouled. Ignashevich is going to take this. Tall, receding hairline. He looks every month his 38 years old. Ignashevich drives this forward. He's absolutely leathered it way beyond anyone in a white shirt through for a goal kick. Now, if ever there was a sign that Russia are playing for penalties.
No, but you know what? Everybody's tired, and most of them have got cramp. Had it, it's going to happen to them. And he goes and pings the ball like that. Where, no disrespect, nobody would catch that.
Goal kick. Never at this World Cup has there been a more definite and definitive goal kick conceded. Russia, if they win through this, Russia, Moscow is going to be, you will not be able to avoid hearing this chant of Russia in the Russian capital this evening.
They'll have to get a new bus.
They will.
This one's tired.
Here, Spain with the ball 10 yards inside Russian territory. 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to go. Piqué plays it through. Rodrigo with a touch. Iniesta now. It's into the penalty area for Aspas. He couldn't take it in his stride. Very nearly. Cut inside the defender, and there was a crucial touch in there which took it away from Aspas, and Russia were able to clear away again. But the threat is there now. There's more of a threat now in this match than there has been at any stage, really. Isco is then handed off.
Yeah, it's an obstruction.
By Yerokin, and it's a free kick.
It's an obstruction, and They've got to put in there. Ramos has gone forward, Piqué has gone forward. Look, there's a quick free kick.
Taken quickly by Jordi Alba to Isco with the outside of his boot. Isco plays it across. Ignashevich gets his head to it. It's pulled down by Piqué. Piqué in the area on the right hand side. Left foot drives it across, and that was blocked by Kudryashov, out for a throw-in on the far side. Finally, we've got a bit of drama and excitement for you on 5 Live at the latter end of this last 16 game at this Russian World Cup. The hosts are clinging on. They are still just about in their own World Cup. Iniesta on the left hand side. Iniesta towards the byline. Fernandes puts in the challenge. Referee says goal kick. And Fernandes down there, who, don't forget, is Brazilian, gets up and he urges the crowd to get behind their team here. Goal kick it is.
They've played the part, haven't they?
Yeah, the supporters inside the ground are beginning to believe that their team might be capable of knocking out Spain. Akinfire. Goal kick deep into the Russian half. Busquets gets his head to it. Oh, it's sliced back towards his own penalty area, towards Rodrigo by Kuchepov. Now Isco rolls his foot over it. He's blocked by Ignashevich blatantly. Free kick near the left touchline, just a few yards away from where Fernando Hierro is watching. If Spain end up being knocked out in a penalty shootout, what a campaign it's been for them. The whole business with Lopetegui being sacked the day before the World Cup, Hierro having to take over, then drawing with Portugal when really they should have won that game had it not been for Ronaldo, scraping a 1-0 win against Iran, drawing 2-2 with Morocco, and here making little or no impression for the most part against the rank outsiders of Russia. But it's a free kick. Koke is going to play it in. A right-footed in-swinger from the left wing. Free kick taken by Koke. Delivered it nicely. It's gone a long way, and it's flicked across the face of goal. And Sergio Ramos, who got the touch, is saying that he was being wrestled. He was having his shirt pulled. He's run towards the referee. Busquets is there as well. Referee Kuipers. There was certainly some pushing and shoving going on in there. Not least once they all got to the referee.
Oh yes,
but definitely. Sergio Ramos was being twisted right round.
And Piqué, watch Piqué here. We're getting a bit of a replay. Look. And the referee's looking at it. He's actually looking at it.
There's a VAR check going on,
and it should be as well. And if he's got any, well, it'd be interesting to see if he's got.
This could well be a penalty. This could be a penalty to Spain, because both Piqué and Sergio Ramos were being manhandled. They are looking at it now.
Got to give it, John.
The fourth official is the Dutchman Danny Makely, and they are watching the pictures in the Moscow bunker where they're based.
Got to give it to
Sergio
him.
Ramos was being wrestled. Ignashevich, and they've not seen enough. No. They've not given it. They've not given a penalty against the host nation in the second period of extra time in this last 16 match at the World Cup.
What a shock. Can't believe it.
Interesting to hear well, there won't be an explanation, will there? As suddenly now it begins to rain on the Luzhniki. The rain clouds have rumbled over this Russian national stadium, and it's absolutely pouring down now through the gap in this huge circular roof above our heads, and the game will finish in a torrential downpour. Spain 1, Russia 1. We're into the last 5 minutes of extra time. Real controversy there. The ball's been lost inside the Spanish penalty area, but the pull back from the edge of the air, and there were options there. Golovin was available, but it wasn't able to be used by Cheryshev. However, Russia will come again down the right-hand side with Yerokin, who wins a throw-in for Russia, level with the edge of the Spanish penalty area. That was an opportunity Russia had there, not taken.
Busquets dawdling with it, wasn't he? Trying a little Cruyff turn in the box, and he lost it.
And so now Fernandes has a throw-in for Russia. Smolov is available inside the penalty area. Instead, the throw goes down the line, and Smolov is able to win a corner for Russia.
Could it be?
Could it be? We are deep in extra time. We're in the 117th minute. Golovin is going to take the corner from the right for Russia. Spain have to defend this set piece. Golovin swings it in, header across the face of goal and beyond the far post, and it bounces down into the full-back position. Smolov catches up with it. The threat is still there. Smolov on his right foot, ball across is chested down and away for Spain by Jordi Alba, and here's one downfield for Rodrigo to chase, and he is chasing, but he's been beaten to it, and the ball is played back to Akinfeev. And the goalkeeper clears it out of play for a throw-in. 2.5 minutes of extra time to play. Actually, the second period of extra time has not been bad.
Right, because Spain thought we don't want to go to a shootout, so we're going to have to up the tempo. Why did they do this early in the game? I don't know.
Genuine excitement now inside the stadium. Jordi Alba on the left wing for Spain. Isco plays it back towards the halfway line. And suddenly, after that flurry of activity, here we are back to Spain in possession in the central third. Gerard Piqué on his right foot. Thought about going long, instead goes to Carvajal on the right hand side. Carvajal's ball in towards the edge of the penalty area to Koke. Then it comes back to Piqué. Piqué goes for a high pass out towards this left hand side, the Spanish left, but Fernandez read that and was able to head it away, only to Sergio Ramos. And now Isco goes off on a weaving run towards the dead ball line, chips it across, takes a deflection which looped it across the penalty area. That was headed away, nodded further away. Smolov challenges for it. Might have caught Sergio Ramos with his arm. No, referee allows play to continue. And now Aspas with a little ball. No, behind Isco. And now it's played away over the top, but a slip at the crucial moment.
Ramos got a little bit of cramp
by Cheryshev, and he wasn't able to latch onto that long ball downfield. Ramos is he's back on his feet. He's okay. And we have 1 minute of extra time to play. The rain still pouring down on the pitch surface of the Luzhniki Stadium. That's possibly why it's become rather greasy down there, and we've seen 1 or 2 slips by the players. Less than a minute away from a penalty shootout. Iniesta flicks it to the left hand side, and now Jordi Alba looks to get it back from Iniesta, but he won't reach that. Fernandez has done very well. I think he's played as well as anyone, actually. Mario Fernandez, the right wing back, and it's a goal kick.
I don't think anybody sticks out for it. I think they've been a team today. They've just all put a shift in. They've showed tremendous honesty, energy. They've worked hard, and people criticise teams who part the bus, and I'm not a big fan of it, but play to strength, and if that gets you the result, you do it.
Spain won, Russia won. Seconds away from a penalty shootout. Russia have never been involved in a penalty shootout at a major tournament, either as Russia, Soviet Union, CIS, USSR, whatever you want to call them. So this will be history. And
1 minute.
They will have an even chance, obviously, of winning their way through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. But Ignashevic's clearance has hit Aspas. Might be one final chance, and it's a shot on the turn from Rodrigo, and it's saved by Akinfeev down to his right. Oh, he nearly broke the hearts of the host nation there, Rodrigo. But Akinfeev to the rescue, which he might have to be in the penalty shootout as well. That must be about it. 30 seconds to play.
Rodrigo hits it, doesn't he? And he could have given it back to his striking partner, who's been linked up pretty well to him. He could have rolled him in, but he went for the shot. Comfortable save.
Spain won, Russia won. It is raining, but it is not yet raining on Russia's parade. The throw-in taken down the left-hand side, the ball hoisted in from the left, but bouncing through to De Gea. So he's had his critics, David De Gea, at this World Cup. He's had next to nothing to do in this match, but he has the chance to be a hero in the penalty shootout, because there is the final whistle, and against all of the odds, the rank outsiders at this Russian World Cup, the hosts, have taken Spain all the way to a penalty shootout. It's finished 1-1 after extra time, Chris Waddle.
Well, they could have went straight to this basically after about 20 minutes of the game, couldn't they? So, give Russia credit. They've worked their socks off. They need that little bit of luck in the shootout now, but Spain will kick themselves. They should have played a lot more quicker, they should have took a bit more risk, and I think they would have got a result.
So Spain won, Russia won, and penalty kicks on the way here in the Luzhniki.
Getting texts and tweets from people all the time. 85058 hashtag BBC World Cup. Frank, incredibly over 1,000 passes by Spain. Russia can just stand back and watch. John, if it goes to penalties, which it has, Spain are going to struggle as it requires at least five of them to hit the ball forward instead of sideways. Tim, VAR is great until the officials lack courage where the host nation is concerned. Pathetic. Do you think they lacked courage, Chris?
Most definitely. We saw it wasn't just Ramos who people were looking at. Piqué for me was the one, all over him, pulled him to the ground, and the referee's actually looking from 4 or 5 yards away, actually looking at the incident. And even when the VAR, what made them say when they watched it that he was not pulling the two players to the ground? What goes through your head? You need a brave man if you're sitting in the VAR room. Unfortunately, they're not today.
And from what you saw from Spain in that second period of extra time, you sort of wonder why Rodrigo wasn't brought on for either during the actual 90 minutes or at least during, at the start of extra time.
But he could have started from the beginning, Mark. He could have played two up front today. After 5 minutes in the game, you saw what Russia were going to do. We always say park the bus, and they were literally parking the bus. It was a double decker, not a single decker today. And what you got to look at is, straight away then you thought, we need two strikers. Somebody go along, even Aspas alongside Diego Costa, because they're not going to hurt. The only time they're going to hurt was on a counter-attack or a set piece. They could have dealt with that all day. So why he wasn't brave enough to put another striker on early in the game, I do not know.
So if there's criticism of Spain for how they've played, should there also be criticism of Russia for the way they set up, or is that more understandable?
No, I understand it. I think if they went toe-to-toe and attacked them like Uruguay hammered them, I think Spain would have hammered them, as simple as that. But they've looked at Spain and thought, yeah, they have possession and they're good on it, so if we sit back, we'll take the chances of getting a result, and they have, and now they may get a massive reward through it. But if the trouble is when you get teams like this through, do they play like this every round from now on, and it's not great to watch, is it? You want to see entertaining football, and I'm not saying Spain's been entertaining today, but you do need entertaining football.
Katerina Malavichko is in the studio with us, Russian journalist, has been here for the last 2 hours, Russian sports journalist. How are you feeling?
Incredible, because the last time USSR was in the quarterfinal of the World Cup was in 1970. So we are watching the history. Either Spain will beat the host the first time in the history, either Russia will qualify to the quarterfinal, will crawl inside this. I'm afraid the referee will be crucified for this penalty not given in the last minutes. I'm afraid yes, but I don't know. I understand him, but now I feel incredible because now I'm just gonna root for us.
I'm assuming actually, John Murray, because the way it works, it's the guys in the VAR room who said he didn't actually have anything to look at.
Yes,
he didn't go over to a screen, did he?
No, that's right. They must have said that they were satisfied that he made the right call and that there wasn't enough to look at. Strange one.
Right.
And we'll certainly hear more about that if it goes Russia's way, which of course it could do. We now know the end in which the penalties are to be taken. That's to our left. It's quite a big contingent of Spanish fans down there, actually. And the first one is going to be taken by Iniesta. So we're ready for the first penalty. The players are lined up, arms round one another's shoulders on the halfway line. On the edge of the coaching area, all of the substitutes and staff have their arms round one another. And we're going to waste no time here. First penalty of the shootout. Iniesta scores, sends Akinfeev the wrong way. And it is 1-0 in the shootout to Spain.
Quality pen, wasn't it? No panic. Look, he just waits, just lifts it, waits the goalie goes, just rolls it in, just clips it into the net. And to be fair, if this is his last game, you wouldn't want him to miss, would you?
No. So who's going to take the first one for Russia? I think it's going to be Smolov, isn't it? The number 10, the substitute, Smolov. What a scene we have inside the Luzhniki Stadium here. Brilliant scene, everyone on their feet, 2 tiers, nearly 80,000 people. The host nation's hopes resting on a penalty shootout. Little short run up from Smolov, scores. De Gea diving to his right, went the right way, might even have got a touch to that, but couldn't keep it out. 1-1.
He basically didn't run up, did he? He just walked up, and he did get his right hand to it, but couldn't push it around the post. Pushes it into side netting.
Next, Gerard Piqué. They're wasting no time here, are they? Piqué is already now in the penalty area. He's got the ball, scoops it up with his right foot. Whistles and whistles pouring down from the stands. Gerard Piqué with his right-footed penalty strikes it in off the foot of the post, with Akinfeev going the wrong way this time, and it is 2-1 to Spain in the shootout.
Yeah, but Penn sends the goal the wrong way, and again hits the post. That actually, I think it hits the post and goes in off the post. He's hit the inside of the post. Wow.
What tension inside the stadium here. As next for Russia, it is the old man, 38-year-old Sergei Ignashevich, taking responsibility. This might be his last appearance for Russia. He wants to make sure it's not. A little delay, and he scores. Well done, Ignashevich. The slightest of delays there as he came up to the ball. De Gea dived to his right, and Ignashevich tucked it away.
Brilliant. Just runs up, little stutter. Up. De Gea goes right, he goes left. Right, Penn. Well done.
2-2. 4 successful penalties taken. Next, it's Koke, the Atletico Madrid midfielder. This is a right-footed penalty. Akinfeev crouches on his line, and it is straight down the middle and saved by Akinfeev. It's advantage Russia in the shootout.
To be fair, when he walked up there, John, I just tapped Gary on your left, and I thought, don't fancy him. He's not played a forward ball all day, has he? And it's not the best pen. The goalie's gambled to his right, and it's a good save, a comfortable save for him. He looked nervous.
Next, it's young Golovin, the number 17, the 22-year-old, who could be bound for the Premier League and Chelsea. Well, the excitement is rising here as Golovin with his right foot drives it underneath De Gea's dive down to his right. Went right underneath the Manchester United keeper, and now it is advantage Russia 3-2.
Ramos.
The captain, Sergio Ramos. The atmosphere is quite something here. The atmosphere all around the stadium is becoming frenzied. If Ramos misses this, I mean, the pressure is piled on Spain, and Sergio Ramos with his right foot, oh, brilliant penalty, scores as Akinfeev commits himself to his left. Went the other way, and he makes it 3-3 in the shootout.
He just doesn't have any nerves off the head, does he? No. He just starts. How casual is that? Sends the keeper wrong. Brilliant.
I mean, Chris, there's so much to dislike about Sergio Ramos, but there is so much to admire as well.
He's a winner. Listen, he's a winner. Look, he's having a word with him. He's trying to put the next taker off.
Referee Kuipers sends him on his way, and it's going to be Cheryshev. Denis Cheryshev came on as a substitute today. 3 goals already. Russia scores for Russia. That's 4-3. That means next man must score for Spain. Otherwise, Russia will be into the quarter-finals.
Wow. Another good pen, under pressure as well, by the way. Great pen.
And who is it who has been given the pressure of this penalty? It is Iago Aspas. It is Iago Aspas. We've reached the point where if this does not go in, Russia are through and Spain are out. And the referee is saying that there's a Spanish player not in the centre circle, so has to just... it's Ramos, would you believe? Ramos. And so Iago Aspas runs round to his right, a long run up, left-footed. Oh, it's saved! It's saved by Akinfeev! It's like Lev Yashin all over again. The goalkeeper's the hero. Russia are through to the quarter-finals. The hosts are still in it. Spain are out. out. Amazing scenes at the Luzhniki. Amazing. Oh, what about this? The rearguard action of rearguard actions has seen Russia through, and the rank outsiders will play in a World Cup quarter-final of their own World Cup.
I want to say Penny, I think he saves it with his left foot, doesn't he? He dives to his right, he sticks his left foot in the air and kicks it away. I'm sure he does. You know, we're quite a way away, he goes down the middle, he kicks it away with his left foot. Wow.
Well, he went to his right, Aspas went down the middle, but he was able to readjust and hook it away with his left foot.
Well,
then he makes it, and then he dives forward onto the pitch. They're still celebrating down there. So this World Cup, we lost Germany. Yesterday we lost Argentina and Portugal. Today we've lost Spain. And this half of the draw at this World Cup, which contains England, has opened right up.
Unbelievable. Listen, you've got to give Russia a pat on the back. If you're a purist of football, you'll say no, because it was drab. They parked the bus, they sat deep, they didn't want to let Spain to come at them, and Spain have took the risk without taking risk in the football. They've took the risk of going to a shootout, and they've paid the price. But I've got to say, all tournament, John, Spain have never convinced me. In spells they've been great, 20 minutes here and 15 minutes here, but overall they've looked tired, they've looked slow, very easy to play against, and they've got dangerous teams that look dangerous against on the counter-attack. Give Russia credit, they were on their last legs, they've took it right to the shootout, and they've got their rewards. Well done, the hosts are still in.
Well, thanks to Igor Akinfeyev's left foot, Russia win the penalty shootout by 4-3 after a 1-1 draw after extra time. As they say in Moscow, as they say in Russia, this is Neverodyadnya. Unbelievable.
Did anybody listen to the podcast the other day, or the Robbie Savage show? That sounded a little like Gaza, but can you say that again?
Yeah, can you say it again, John? Say it again, please.
Neverodyadnya.
Katerina, can you do it properly, please?
Невероятно! Это невероятно!
That's it. That's what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
That's the best World Cup moment so far. Forget the football.
Wow.
I cannot believe
What's wow?
Wow.
What's wow in Russian?
Wow is we can see this with our own eyes. I saw Russia beating Netherlands. I never thought I would see anything like this. And then now Spain, I don't know, video assistants worked so good for Spain on this tournament, they cannot complain. Once, referee didn't decide to give them penalty, but I think it's their fault, because Fernando Hierro looked scared. He was scared to lose to Russia.
What does that mean at the moment?
Играем за вас. We're playing for you. We're playing for you.
So at the moment they're carrying a Russian flag, and in gold letters it says the whole team, the whole squad are carrying this big Russian flag, and that means we play for you.
We play for you. We play instead of you. Like both. It's like a game of words, there. And wow.
It is, John Murray, it is a remarkable story, particularly given how they were written off before the tournament even started.
How they were written off, and now I can see members of the Russian staff jumping for joy on the pitch here. They're carrying this long Russian flag with that message on it around the stadium. There are parties going on in the stands, and Ignashevich, remember, because of the injuries that they had, they lost all manner of players to injuries, particularly in the defensive department. They had to persuade Ignashevich to come back and play at the age of 38, nearly 39. He played the whole match here, extra time as well, and he took a penalty, and he scored it, and he looks out on his feet. But he'll have another match to play, and the Spanish players now are finally, they came across, they congratulated their Russian opponents here, but they're now disappearing down the tunnel. I just see a shot as well in the stadium here. We've got the King of Spain himself, King Felipe, who's watching down from the stands. Well, today, this Russian team, they have singed the King of Spain's beard.
When you said that, Guy Mowbray's here for later on. Myself and Guy Mowbray looked at each other and mouthed to each other. Ashley Giles is there, both at exactly the same time. Do you get that cricket joke, John?
Oh, very much so. All of the mugs that were printed for Ashley Giles' testimonial.
All of those mugs. Katerina, these scenes are fantastic. There are Russian players in tears of joy, and they are going to all four corners of the Luzhniki Stadium at the moment.
It's because the audience was incredible, and what they wanted to get, they got this. They got support and they got belief. And I think actually after we scored, everyone believed we could win. I think they felt it because, as I said, the atmosphere was so bad on the eve of the tournament, and it changed the players, changed it so crucially. And then everyone thanks each other here, both players and the audience. Everyone played good. I think everyone played excellent. And as I said, I think Spanish has a little bit guilty here themselves because they were obviously scared to lose, and then they were not risking. We of course we were scared to lose, but we would lose to former world champions. They would lose just to another host.
When Stanislav Cherchesov was first appointed the Russian head coach, the first thing he said, the first thing we need to do is stop whining and underestimating ourselves. We need to bring back respect.
That's what he did. And you know, there are so many people criticizing Cherchesov, and they were still criticizing. They just got silent a bit after the first two wins, but they still criticize. They still don't believe he can be a very good coach. What he did very good atmosphere. He obviously does something we cannot see. The only question we have now is what has he done? What has changed so much that these guys got through qualified for quarterfinal? I have no idea how he did it really, because it seems impossible to change Russian players, but somehow he managed to do this.
The stats, Chris Waddle, I don't know if you've got them on your screen there. They've just come up on the screen here. Spain, 1,140 passes compared to Russia's 286. And that is a damning indictment, would you not say, of how Spain played?
Well, if you look at the completed passes, it's over 1,000. 1,029 completed, and they only had 202 completed, Russia. And they've took them to the shootout, and they've got the rewards. Listen, they had a game plan, Martin, and they know if they'd come out and said, well, we're going to play two up front, and what they've been playing, sort of 4-5-1, 4-4-4, 4-3-3, they'd get beat. So give the coach credit. He set up, and the players were so disciplined and honest. They were dropping like flies. Second half a cramp. They couldn't kick it. Some of them were struggling, but Spain just played into their hands. I don't get this tournament. I've always been a big fan of Spain. I love to see the game pass them, move the way they play. But this tournament, they've either been tired or I don't know what it meant or something. I just don't. Over the course of 90 minutes, they just can't put a game together, right? They have spells where they look great, and a lot of times they look bang average. And today, that was a classic case of Spain so far in this tournament. And Russia deserve it just for their honesty. And when they did get it forward, they tried to shoot, they tried to cross it. Spain didn't.
I think we should just say again, Mark, just to make this absolutely clear, that one of the World Cup finalists this year will be either Russia, Croatia, Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, Colombia or England.
Yes.
That's a little surprising, I would say, and that gives one of those teams a massive opportunity.
And every single one of those teams will believe that they can make it to a World Cup final. Russians, Ekaterina, now start talking about making it to a World Cup final? Do you think?
I think we should look forward to Russia against England game.
That would be a semi-final. Chris, you're coming in?
Let's forget Croatia in the next round or Denmark. I think they'll play a similar role against Croatia because they know how good Croatia is. They'll pat the midfield again and they'll think, you're not coming through the middle with us neither. And they'll try and ride their luck a bit and say, we'll catch you on the break or we'll go to a shootout. Listen, they can't lose now. The fans are behind them. Nobody would have said they would have got to the stage of the quarterfinals of the World Cup. But 2 months ago, where were we saying this is the worst Russian team in history? And now they're through.
So many tweets now flying around about England getting to a World Cup final. We will come on to that a little bit later. David, absolute 100% credit to the grit, determination and spirit of Russia. They refused to let Spain play and outdid them in the end. Actually, Spain only had themselves to blame. Terrible match, terrible penalties. Even their goal was scored by a Russian. And here they start to